Tuesday, new day.
Yeah, damn.
Welcome,
What's
welcome,
popping out
welcome
there?
everybody.
It's Tuesday.
He said, she said, love and abundance is in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Seds is back at it.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it's Tuesday.
We are here.
How y'all doing? How y'all?
She said,
She filling your head with he said, she said.
Unison. Unison.
Hope everybody is doing good. Hope you had a
Word.
good week. Hope
Yes.
y'all see us good, hear us good. Let us know.
1 2
And
1 2.
hope you guys seen the thumbnail because we got a nice one today. We
Okay,
get a
nice
chance to sit down and chop it up with an amazing personality, amazing content provider,
Amazing gentleman,
content creator, and gentleman as well. Absolutely. There it is. The one and only
Dr. Nakumbe.
The doc is in
Doc
the
is
building.
in the building. He's in the building. We welcome him. We're gonna enjoy our time with him today on the sets.
Yes, indeed.
New Day Tuesday.
Yes, indeed. Got some amazing questions, got some videos, and just gonna pick his brain for a little bit. So let's go ahead and welcome him
Welcome on
to
in,
the
y'all.
stage.
Welcome.
Hey, Doc, how's it going, sir?
Shout out
I'm
to
fabulous. I'm fabulous. How about yourself?
all is well. All is well.
Thank you. Is this enough light? I always see the people with the dark light and the dim light and in the shadows. You got enough light for me?
Yeah.
All right.
You clearly.
Yes,
Good.
yes. Glad you had a good week. Mrs. Harris, how was your week?
Oh, it's coming along. It's just Tuesday.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
scratching and surviving.
So far, so good. Scratching and surviving. I know that's right. Goodness gracious.
Man, who said fourth grade was that hard? Nah, we working it out. It's been a good week.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for the rest of the week. So
True,
you know,
indeed.
that's a good enough motivation for Tuesday, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
How y'all doing out there?
Yeah, how
See
y'all
y'all
doing
pulling
out
up
there
and
in the
popping
chat?
in.
Yes,
Welcome.
indeed. Let's go ahead and get to the pleasantries. Moderation gang is in the building. The missus is
Let's
here.
go. Let's go.
Yes,
Let's
indeed.
go.
My guy Mo is here.
Hey
Best
now.
guy in the building.
Welcome,
Hope all
Mo.
is well. Doc is in the building, of course. We appreciate you being here, sir.
Taking the time out.
Sheila is in the building.
Hey, Bravo with Sheila
Network is in the building. Y'all go over there and hit the button. Say what's up to her. Check out that content because it's amazing.
That's right.
Sis is in the building. Red
lipstick. Everybody's always positive. Get a little petty here and there.
Designated.
Sprinkle.
Designated. Absolutely. Yeah. And we got a great conversation tonight. We got the doc in the building. And you guys know how we do on the content creator spotlight. We have a host of questions and we can go ahead and get to them. So Doc, are you ready to sit in the quote unquote hot seat for a couple of seconds?
Kick back, about to put my feet up.
I am. You know, if it gets too warm, I'll let you know. Just put on some air conditioned shorts or something and let it cool off and let it go. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Welcome, Doc. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule.
Yes.
You bet.
The first thing is tell us a little about yourself and the service that you provide and also the channel that you have.
You bet. Well, first, let me thank you for this opportunity. Good evening to you and the missus and your family. And hello to those in the chat. Thank you for allowing me to share in this space with you. I appreciate the opportunity. Let's see. You know, I'm one of those people that I'm better with questions like, what do you want to know? But in general, the work that I do, I'm a board certified forensic counselor in the state of Minnesota. I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor, licensed alcohol and drug counselor. A few certifications such as parent and youth coach, certified crisis interventionist, certified drug interventionist. You know them shows where people, you need to get to the hospital, Billy. Let's do it. So I do those type of things. A few more, pay a few dollars more for this, a few more dollars for that. Credentials when it comes to certification and coaching. So relationship coach and certified um, recovery coach. I have my marriage and family I have everything but the license. I took the test and failed. I failed the marriage and family therapy test to be licensed. In the state of Minnesota, you can no longer say that you are a marriage and family therapist. They coined that term if you don't have the license because the public might get too confused between the LMFT and just a regular MFT. Uh, but so anyway, I have everything but the license. And I'm not going back for the test. At that time, I felt like I had to keep going and get every single credential under the sun, but that came out of inadequacy. So I sent out. And that's what I do. So most of my work, I have about three different paths. So primarily, I work with offenders and victims. So offenders of violent crimes and sex crimes, and then also work with victims of sex crimes, male, female, non-gender, both youth and adults. Now, youth are not called offenders. We say youth are labeled as or known as people with problematic sexual behaviors. They don't actually get the label of offender until they turn 18 and older. So I've been in that business for about 10 years as a licensed treatment therapist and a licensed therapist working with those who are um, victims and or have been impacted. So like your family member could be an alcoholic, but they call it a family disease. So the one has uh, the addiction, but it really impacts the whole family. So I work with victims who are direct victims of sexual offense, and those who've been impacted within the family unit by someone who's been offended against or violated. So that's I would say that's a bulk of my time with that. I work in the jail, one of the county jails, as a mental health professional, doing suicide assessments. Oh, sorry, I am a board certified. Excuse me, not board. I'm a certified suicide. Oh, I said that suicide interventionist. So at the jail, what I do is people who go in, they may have committed a crime but not realize the significance of it. Murder, or excuse me, deleting people, children, whatever the case may be, and then it hits them later, and then they realize what they did, and then they want to delete themselves. So my job is to one assess, and we get people who want to delete, who state they want to delete themselves because they know they get a cell to themselves. So I have to weed out between the ones who really want to and the ones who don't want to. The ones who want to get them to help. And then we have the people who come in and they believe their mental illness is the reason that they committed the crime. My little 2 cents is to figure out if that's really the case while they're there at the jail. So I do some court testimony work with the offenders, brought in as an expert witness for both adolescent and or adult cases. For the jail, I'm not really called on that much. Every blue moon, I get a lawyer to say, "You worked with my client; they had problems, right?" But at the jail, my job is more neutral since we house them there. We don't want to be biased, because jails make money too. So,
Right.
so those are my primary gigs. Then in my own private practice, I work with couples. They know they shouldn't be together. They know they shouldn't be together, but they can't help it. They stay together, and so my job is two things. One, I help them figure out, and I kind of coined this is my tagline. I help it make sense. That's all I do. My main purpose in life is to help it make sense. So with the couples, does it make sense for you to be together? And I don't mean based on happiness. I'm talking about the stuff that was not discussed. I never knew you were an addict. I never knew you had mental health the way you did. I never knew you were a gambler and you're going to just mess up all of our savings. I just never knew these things. And I know I said through sickness and in health, but I really have to determine, am I able to am I really qualified for the job? So not all couples do I help stay together and stay in love. Sometimes we have to look at, is this going to really work?
Right.
That's where my heart is really at. I mean, with the offenders, my passion is there to help the victims and stuff. but also the couples, because you just meet a lot of different folks. And then last and not least, but in my private practice, I work with drug addicted folks, substance abuse disorder. So adolescents who their parents, they parent the kid that they want and not the kid that they have. And so I end up dealing with a lot of parents saying, here you go, fix them. And they're on drugs, fix them. But a lot of that drug use is coping because of the family unit or because of what's going on with mom and dad. So that's another whole bag in itself. That is pretty much all of what I do. Sorry, and this is not all for bragging stuff. This is actually tiring. This is just all what I do, and I'm an international speaker. So I do workshops, presentations abroad and here in the States. Now that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm,
That's a lot.
mhm.
Do a lot.
That's a lot.
Yes, indeed.
It is. It is. It is. But
Going
it's
back to
purposeful.
I got
Yeah. It's,
teamed up.
So all human service based.
Yes.
What made you want to get into this profession and
Help
land
people.
in a human service position?
yep. Never planned it that way. Never thought about it that way. It crept up. I believe in sometimes. I believe that the universe puts you right where you need to belong sometimes, all times. And so the long story, but we'll make it shorter. Started. I grew up in the foster care system. I'm
Just
from New York.
all the time you
Hmm?
want.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
no accidents.
Born in the Bronx. Born to a mother who was 13 when she had me. My father is my step grandfather. Uh, and so growing up in that dynamic, if you guys remember the movie Precious, um,
Yes.
my mom, the stories that were told and later confirmed, my mom said that it was like a 1 year relationship with Pops. So it wasn't like a one night, let me tell you a bedtime story. That's bad enough. But I mean, that's horrible in itself, but this was like a
Yes.
1 year relationship. At least what she thought was a relationship. But at 12 years old, what do you really know about that type of relationship? And then you being a grandpa, and back then, so late 60s, early 70s, grandparents were like really like now you could be 25 and be a grandparent, but back then it was like they were old. They were not old, but he was
Yes.
clearly in his 40s and 50s. Okay,
Mhm.
so grandma wasn't told. My mom was on punishment one day, and he was like, if you want to go outside, blah 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 blah, and that playing around led to. So grandma wasn't told, but one day she's playing with me and and grandpa's sitting there or dad is sitting there and she's looking and looking and looking. And after a minute, it's like, damn, they look alike. And for him to be a stepdad, so it's not like a birth dad where it makes sense. It's like for a stepdad, it's like. And so she had her suspicions, but then boom. Um, well, grandma was much like, I'm being silly, but grandma was much like FB was to me. My account just got hacked. 30,000 subscribers, and FB's way of saying, "Hey, don't worry, we support you," was just to disable the whole account and say, "Oh well." Same way. Grandma's response was, "Oh, you bleeped my man. I'm gonna take yours."
Mhm.
So she put me in the foster care system because back then at 13 really was 13. Like my mom didn't have rights. You couldn't just go down to a school or to an agency and say this is unfair. And they say, "Oh no, get to keep your kid." Back then,
Right.
13 was 13.
Yes.
So boom, there I am in the foster system, 1 years old. My mom could get me when she turned 18. So I was there for 5 years. And it was there that I had my first real discovery of this is not my home. I don't want to say it was the Brady Bunch, but they had like a bunch of brothers and sisters, siblings. I only had one like other foster brother. But there were some nights I remember clearly, 4 years old, maybe five, a little bit, because I left when I was five, but maybe just right now of I used to pee in the bed a lot. And so one of the birth sisters, so my foster sister, but their real daughter, used to let me out. Like I can't swear that the door was locked, but we were in this room where it always appeared locked. But she let me out to go to the bathroom. But in return, I would have to go to her room, and then in her room, she would tell me to help her sleep. If I could just, you know how you say, would you scratch? Would you? It depends on where you live in the country. Some people say, would you itch this spot? That sounds
Mhm.
weird to me. But you know how you say, would you scratch this spot? She would
Mhm.
say, rub this spot for me, and then help me go to sleep. None the wiser. Um, Now older, I realized what I was doing to help her go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Mhm.
Yeah. But I didn't know that was actually called early activation. We can get into that later, but even though I wasn't aware of what was going on, but that was still early activation into this whole world of what is a vagina.
Yes.
So my mom got me when, like, she kept the word. I mean, she came and got me at 5. Boom. And I remember leaving only with the clothes on my back. And it may seem simple, like, well, you were 5, but the outside of a few incidents, the overall, I believed my experience was healthy. So
Mhm.
to then leave with nothing but the clothes on my back really cemented for me what I now have what's called attachment issues. So a lot of them, by explaining my answers to you, I'm going to share the history, but also tell you how it impacts my current or has impacted my past and maybe even my future. So that's probably my first real time of feeling betrayal, not really knowing and not feeling like anyone owed me, is borderline feeling entitled, but it's like, wow, I mean, they took good care of me, had toys and all, and then boom, nothing. Okay, fair enough. Live with mom. We live in the Bronx, broke, 1420 Washington Avenue, across the street from the projects. My best friend lived in the projects. We lived across the street, and I'm loving life as far as I know. But mom, I didn't realize. I didn't realize. Mom is what we would call a 304. Mom was a 304. Mom was smoking marijuana laced with cocaine. Mom was drinking alcohol. And things I had to do to help keep her business going. I was the runner. I was a little skinny kid. I was the go between, blah, 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 blah. We used to have a red light bulb in the house, and all I knew was when the light red bulb was on, or the red light bulb was on, you in your room just. But then all of a sudden you hear a fight out there, boom, 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 boom. And my mom was like a bulldog. My mom be in there doing all that stuff. Now I know, realize, but doing that stuff and then rob the dude. Like, when he go get the rag, one of them dry rags he got to go get, and then she in his wallets, in his pockets. And
Mhm.
they fight. So I didn't know. But my mom was a hustler. No, hold back on that. She was a hustler. She used to teach me to steal. Wonder
Mhm.
Bread, they had these long loaves, and then they had
Yeah.
these short loaves. Back in the day, they used to have a long version and a short version.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And she'd go to the store and take a razor blade under the bread and just slice it, and we take out a whole big chunk and then push the bag back and make it look like 2 short loaves next to each other. And she had one of these big leather bags with patches all over it. The 70s, man. But she had patches all over. She just opened the bag like it was a Halloween gift bag, man. She just throw stuff in there.
Mhm.
Ballpark Franks, yogurt. We were going to town. Golden plump chicken. We went to town, and then in our building we hooked up electricity. Well, we didn't touch it, but the electricity was ran from one building to the next. Like we didn't have, like, we weren't paying like Con Ed or anything like that.
Right.
We
Right.
just had the stuff, hooked up. And in my book, I wrote that the concrete was my sleep number. The concrete floors was my sleep number. You learn to just make all that concrete soft. You learn in your mind to just make it soft. I never complain about that concrete. I always, and them roaches and water bugs, I thought I had friends.
Whew.
But them water bugs scared me though. I'm like, man, y'all, because they were big. Them New York water bugs, and
Oh
them
yeah.
big. They, so
They
they,
they
I always
still.
thought it was, yeah, they're still big. Yeah, I thought it was unfair, man, to the regular roach. I'm like, man, y'all can't come to the party, man.
Right.
Hey,
And
Sarah.
was um. But anyway, then I had 2 sisters. She met
Okay.
this dude who was so good to me.
Okay.
This dude was so good to me. My mom would just beat me for anything. Come here. You be smoking? And out of nowhere, she's like, hold still. You know them, there used to be this bag, like a punch, it's like a punching bag, but anyway, it's a weeble wobble. You hit them and they don't fall down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Punch it anyway. So she used to just play, and I was skinny. And you can see my ribs as I was skinny. She put her foot on my feet and be like, hold still. And trigger alert, trigger alert, trigger alert. And it's sad that we have to say that because we're just listening to the rapper MC such and such 9-year-old. You know, it's not. I don't see a trigger alert or nothing on his videos or nothing. But anyway, trigger alert. Just, and I won't go into detail, but she would take a puff, and then I was the weeble wobble, but taught me to have some strong ab muscles. I mean,
Right.
if nothing else, I can learn to some strong because you go down, you have to lean back up some matrix of just for fun. Ivory soap. I don't know if people remember Ivory soap. I think they're still. I don't know if they're still around, but Ivory soap. The bar floats. It is, yeah. The bar floats, and my mom would teach me magic in the shower, in the bathtub. She'd show me where you put the Ivory soap, and then when it comes up, bloop, it floats. It's like, oh. And then you have to repair because an Ivory soap goes up. It is very strong scent, so you have to repair later the spot that was holding the Ivory soap. So then I was learning how to repair this area down below. Several days. So again, some early activation stuff. And I'm gonna speed up here with the story, but I just want to say what really kind of all led up to it. So my sisters are born. This dude is super nice to me. I mean, I call him my angel. Like my dad, he was just my hero. And I know he would kill for he would delete for his. He would delete for his. And my two sisters have the same dad, but they weren't the healthiest. And I think that was my commitment. Like it's a pay it forward for him, because when you see someone stop a bully, like in the middle of my mom just doing her thing to me, and he just jumps up, no, that's not gonna happen, no. And then to watch them, I mean, just and I'm pulling my sister and keeping her quiet. A couple times scared me because I had to hold her mouth so tough. To have her just be so quiet, and it's like, oh, whoa, it scared me a couple times. Because mom just didn't make noise. She didn't make noise. And to this day, anyone who knows me, a lot of people could think I'm bourgeois. I mean, I have some, for the sake of the word, sure, there's some bourgeois about me since I've become educated. But I used to think that for the longest, like I go to the hood, but just quiet. I don't believe in all that booty blue with your car and stuff. Be quiet. Be in the gas station, shouldn't be booty blue. Turn your car down, quiet and all. But I never realized until I started doing the work, like, oh, that fear factor is still stuck solid in my brain. Noise freaks me out. I mean, I can go to a concert, I can go like anticipated noise, but unanticipated noise is a death sentence. It's a death sentence. Same way this dude, like I said, when you watch someone fight for you. But anyway, I'm 6 years old in the Bronx, and then one day, every morning before going to school, I had to get my mom what's called there's a crocodile. I don't know if you guys remember crocodile. I don't know if it's just an East Coast thing or what. It's a Twinkie covered in chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah.
Yeah, and every morning I had to go before school, PS 110. Every morning before school, I had to go get this crocodile. Now that I'm older, I think there was some other shenanigans going on and she needed me at the house. But every single morning I had to go get these damn crocodiles before I can go to school. Say when I'm out playing, I got robbed a couple of times. And it was unique because my mom would then like beat me to the punchline. Like, what took you so long? You're probably out there getting robbed. And I wouldn't swear that she set me up, but some of my best life lessons, I swear she was on it. Like, how she? And as soon as I hit the dump, Mom, go back. I don't want to hear it. Go back. Yeah, I ain't even get you. Go back. So I got to the point where I learned you don't go home until you have it right. If it takes you all day and all night, I am not going home until I got it right. I got robbed one time. Dude said, "Did you get the right change?" I said, "I think so." Back then they didn't call it simp, but I was like, "What?" I think he said, "Here, I'm not gonna take your money, man." He took off his mismatched glove. He said, "Here, hold your glove, hold this glove." I'm not gonna. I laugh about it now. Anyway, he took off with the little $20. I was not going home without that change. I was not going home. My hustling years kicked in early. Excuse me. I need to get on the bus. Can you help me? Ching ching. Little 60 cent, bro. Thank you. That stuff added up. I finally got enough. And then I went home and took the beating. Took the beating. But I know I wasn't gonna get beat because I didn't come home without that change. So a couple of things happened. Like I said, I was playing outside in an abandoned building. Back then, if you had a clubhouse, you were the stuff. And so this dude came by. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And then he asked me, "You want to build a clubhouse?" And I was like, "Oh hell, yes!" Because see, at school, the people who built the clubhouse, they had to share it. It's me, Muhammad, Shaniqua. That's our clubhouse. Ain't no grown dude coming to the school talking about that's our clubhouse. So I get to say it was mine. Greed. That didn't work out too well for me. But what was unique was, the things like and the count to 5 but all that I knew my mom. I mean, I had enough, just enough wisdom to be like, "Well, will you wait right here?" I don't know what I told her, but I was like, "Will you wait right here? I'll be right back." Not booked home. He was just a building away. Mom. And she wouldn't believe me. She told me I was lying. Why was I dirty? And beat me. Beat me. That was crazy. I that changed my perspective on so much. So now notice already we're talking about addiction, and we're already talking about offending and victimization, early activation, and all stuff where I kept asking myself why. I didn't know why. I didn't know why. Foster care, didn't know why. I didn't know why. My sisters are here. I love them to death. I'll fight for them, kill, delete for them, do what I need to do. So anyway, this dude one day is walking down the street, and I see him, and my dad, I don't call him stepdad. My dad's sitting in the window ledge about 4 stories up, and I just knew happy days were here. This dude's bye-bye. And all of a sudden I was like, "Dad." Frozen. Stuck on stupid. And the only thing that can come to mind was because in my mind I thought if I tell him, he is going to take this guy out. But then I don't have my protector anymore. I'm like, oh, that's a hell of a dilemma.
Indeed.
And even though frozen, I could see this guy just walked and smiled at me. Hi. And you want to talk about the longest walk. Pissed myself. And then like after he was out of the distance, like someone just had released, like, like my dad came like, "What's wrong with you?" And I couldn't even tell him. And I hated myself for that. But then again, I was glad because who knows what he would have done, and then who knows if I would have had him. All right, let me kind of wrap this stage of my life up to kind of still answer your question of why I do what I do. One other great significant thing about this young man was one time, so we moved. My mom was dirty. She was slick, dirty, whatever you want to call her. When they wouldn't get along, we just moved. Ghosting today. Back then, ghosting was just, but she was smooth because she had a robe on. You know, the basketball players, when they go to get in the game, they just rip the thing, and you dress. Yes. Mom had this robe on, and my dad go to work, and she's like, "Bye, baby." And he walk out that door, and she's out the robe and fully dressed, and we get all our stuff out the house from 8 to 3. That man come home to like the refrigerator. If she could have got that, she'd have taken that too. And I couldn't say a word. And one of the times I knew because we walked down to his other apartment, and she put $100. I had this bomber jacket with the zipper on the side on the sleeve, and she put $100 bill in my thing. Said, "Don't lose it. If you lose it, you know I'm gonna delete you." Yes, ma'am. I walked down the whole. We walked a mile to that place. I walked like this. So we got there, and I'm young, 7, maybe 6, 7, somewhere, but somewhere. But next thing I know, they're on the floor, hardwood floor, making these noises and stuff. And then I figured, like, when they got up, I was like, "Do I give them the? Come on, let's go." But the mom just be quiet. So I had to walk back home. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't understand." And she said, "Listen, you don't say a word. That's why I'm gonna be our new place. You better not say a word." I do that thing for like 20 days. And on that 20th day, I kept saying to my dad, "You should stay home today. You should be sick today. You should." And she just kept looking at me. And that man went on to work. Anyway, so you know what he came home to? Empty. So where we moved, we're still in the Bronx. I don't remember the street area, but it's still down Washington Avenue, way, 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 way down. So we moved, and then but my friend still lived over there, and I stole a big wheel. Kind of the big, there's some I don't want to say some idiot, some fool, but that doesn't sound too nice. But anyway, someone left a big wheel out there, and I jacked it, and we'd go ride to the Green Machine, it was called. I'll go ride down and see my friends. So anyway, one day asking I see my friend, she said, yeah. So I went to pick up the broom, went to sweep, and my little sister was crawling on the floor. She's like, "You better pick my sister up, put her on the bed." But I had to go to the bathroom, ran to the bathroom, did whatever, came back. My mom was right there, and I was looking at her, and then whoosh, the dirt right in my sister's face. So we had this little clothes dryer. It's made out of these sticks. It's like three or four sticks a row, and you fold it out, and it's like 12 sticks all together. You put your clothes on and dry it. She beat me with every one of them sticks. Every one of those sticks. Well, when my dad got home, she was like, "Yeah, he tried to kill your daughter, delete your daughter, blah, 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 blah." And he took me in the room, closed the door, bam! He said, "Take off your clothes." Wow. Of all the people, yes, sir. I stripped down. He's like, "Turn around." Yes, sir. He's poking at different spots. "What's that?" "Oh, it's where mom stabbed me." "What's that?" "Well, it's where mom put the." "What's this?" He's pointing out all these bruises on me. And he said, "All right. So you did what now?" "Sir, the dirt," and he's like, "Okay." Took off this leather belt. And he used to have these holes. He was back in the 70s, leather belt with the little holes, with the rings, with holes in them.
Real leather. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he said, "All right. I'm going to beat the bed. And when I hit the bed, you scream out." "Sir, when I hit the bed, you scream. Ready?" Ah! 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 And meanwhile, he's smiling. And it's almost like we were doing the dance, man. But I'm naked, just pretending. He closed the door. "Don't you ever do that to my daughter again." Blah, 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 blah.
Sounds like an awesome man.
That was my dude. I didn't know he was an alcoholic, but that was my dude. I never saw him drunk. At least in my mind, I never knew he was drunk. So anyway, but because mom kept leaving him, wouldn't stay around him. So I finally called 911, and back then I was on the rotary phone. And them folks came out because my mom, she hit me like at this angle. And I really didn't intend to call 911 because what happens at home stays at home. End of story. And I went to school many days, bloody and everything. What happened? I got jumped. I fell down the steps. I never, ever, ever, what happens at home stays at home. I go to school bloody, everything. What happens at home. But I was smart back then, or at least I don't know why, but I knew why. I liked school because it distracted my mind from all the chaos at home. But one day my mom went up to the school. "Y'all not giving enough homework." So then they stacked me up with homework, and I was staying up late. My mind, one of them froze, and one of these little picks with these like the metal things in the pick of the afro. She was combing her hair, And this is the one time I remember talking back. Other than that, I thought I was a decent kid, but it was 10 something. She said, hurry up with the homework. I said, but mom, you told me to give me, yeah, yo, oh my goodness, yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Huh. That's her pick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every house.
Man. Excuse me. Wow. That hit me. She said, hurry up. I said, but mom, you told me to do, and we had the spatula. And back now they make them round and kid safe and all that and plastic and all that. But this thing was a square shaped spatula. And she threw that thing and it stuck. And I put blood was everywhere. And then for whatever reason, I said, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And she clocked me at this angle that for whatever reason, again to this day I can't figure out like why I did it, but I called 911 like it was like someone broke in our house. I mean, I called and it was stumbling to the building hallway at a payphone in the hallway, and it was as if someone broke in the house and I was calling against a burglar because all I remember is calling, and they got there. But by then I came to my senses, and my mom, and they went in that room with her and came out the room about 20 minutes later, adjusting their duty belts, and zipping up their pants, and rubbed me on top of my head and told me, "Be good to your mom. If you don't take me with, I'm toast." And they left. My mom had this grin, and it applies to my work now. I call it the perp grin.
Mm.
She had this grin like on the YouTube streets. They play that video. Says it was at that moment that he knew. And that was a long night. That was a long night. She made it so I wouldn't be able to even dial a one by the time she got done. She was all right. So that's that side of the story. But my sisters, one born and the second one born, but the first one, I was like, my duty was to take care of her. My job was to take care of her. My job was to take care of her. But a couple more of these episodes went by. Now I have two sisters, and then when you cry and you have that long pause.
Mm-hmm.
So this long pause, and my sister had that afro hair too. My mom would comb, but anyway, they were in the bathtub. But that pause was long. I had to go check it out. I went in there. My mom was ever so relaxed smoking. And trigger alert, I won't even say it. We'll just use your imagination. They were quiet for a reason. They were usually blowing bubbles. Mom? Mom. I remember pushing her. She's like, Mom, what do you get off of him? Get off of him. It was like she was a zombie. She left that bathroom, let them go, left that bathroom, came at me. And the Sedge family, I could tell you, I do this in this speech about this. I always tell people that was the best ass whooping of my life because there was one spot she didn't hit me, and it was amazing. It was one spot, and that was like a 2-hour beating, and I endured it all. I knew nothing about Muhammad Ali. I knew nothing. I mean, they had boxing back then. You could just turn the channel ABC. It was free. You had to subscribe to nothing and pay for nothing, but you could just turn on the boxing match. But Muhammad Ali with the rope-a-dope style, I never knew about that. But I knew one thing: as long as you are beating me, you cannot be holding them under the. And the one spot she didn't hit me was my ears. And as long as I could hear my sisters crying, I knew they weren't drunk. But I had to keep her engaged. Come on. I mean, she. Okay, mama, come on. You gotta keep it going because I knew her like clockwork. She'll pass out. When she's high, she'll beat me to a point that she just pass out. And boom, she finally passed out. Went in the bathroom. I'm lumped and blumped and bloody. Grabbed my sisters, wrapped them in towels, took them to the neighbors. Oh, please. But I remember, and this is probably one major key to why I do what I do. I remember telling my sisters to the best of my ability, I'll be right back. Never be right back. Took about 2 years. Because I ran down to my friend's house at 1420, the projects over there in 1420. Ran back to their house. Remember, we lived about a good 15 minutes from there to get help. But they were like, oh my, I mean, again, I was lumped and bumped and bloody and stuff. And they were like, oh my, call the, pew, gone. And I was homeless in the Bronx for about a week and a half. Just, I can't go to them. They want to call, can't go home. But I consider my sister to be safe at the neighbors. But, you know, now that I know what I know, who knows how long they stayed there. But finally, this drunk dude, another alcoholic, found me in the middle of the night. I was like, oh, yeah. I stayed at my friends. I was locked out. They were like, yeah, you do, huh? I'm all about 7 years old, so they took me up. They were like, no, we told him to go home hours ago. What is going on? Anyway, that led me to the police station. This is before Amber Alert, no Amber Alert, and nobody was looking for me. And so what happens at home stays at home. You don't know your name? How can we help you? I wasn't saying nothing. But anyway, the police officer had these packet of cheese and crackers. Crackers on one side, cheese on the other. She had a red stick. You don't know nothing, huh? And by the time she got to that last cracker, I was like, oh, listen. All right, so it took me about a month before I finally told something. Then my sisters got help. They put me in a foster home. But cheese and crackers. Remember, put that to the side. Police officer helping me, cheese and crackers. So kind of want to build this up. Alcoholics, abusers, actual violence, and boom, all that. So I go to the hospital first. I'm in hospital for all this stuff is healing for like 2 months, and I go to foster care, emergency foster home. Finally, I get the social worker who schedules my medical appointment the same day as my sister's, because somehow they got into foster care. So boom, we see each other after 2 years. But it was the first time I really experienced, second time I experienced this word, and the first time I experienced the other word. Second time, betrayal. I felt like I betrayed them because I promised to be back and I wasn't back. And because I wasn't back, this is my first time experiencing this capital D word. Can you guess what it is? Capital D.
Disappointment.
Disappointment. And there's nothing like when you disappoint somebody. But I didn't know that word, but I felt it. Like I was supposed to be back and I didn't. Anyway, we're going in the foster care system every blue moon. My mom gets her parenting rights back. We go home. My mom's like, where do you guys live? Me. It'd be 2 days later. She over there beat up the foster care people and take us. So then they move us again. I went through 7 different foster homes. But my last foster mom said, oh, this will be your last home, baby. And I went everywhere. To this day, I mean, I say it's the New York in me, but to this day, I mean, I go all the way to the Philippines, India, Africa, just a backpack. I don't luggage, no nothing. Just a little backpack. And to this day, I mean, it's not a man purse or a satchel. I mean, it's like to this day, I still have this thing of I always have my one bag. Right. So anyway, she said, "This be your last foster home." I was like, "Yeah," but she had lupus, and when she would get sick, she wouldn't call the agency. She wasn't calling them. She sent me the neighbors, sent me my aunties, and blah 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 blah. So Mr. Phil's a white man, and growing up in Spanish Harlem, I mean, I knew of white people, but it wasn't like white versus black. It was a melting.
Right. Wow.
Amazing content so far.
Amazing.
He'll be right back. Doc will be right back. If you
all
guys
have lives,
don't know, this is an amazing conversation with Coach Nakumbe, Dr. Nakumbe, and our friend. Amazing conversation. Amazing inspiration.
Amazing reflection.
Yes, indeed. So let's go ahead and get back to it. Floor is yours, sir.
Yes. Thank you. So Mr. Phil, the neighbor, white man, like I said, I don't know really about black and white, I don't know anything about that. But the Goodwin family, they take me in. But Mr. Phil, that dude. Same with PS28. So I was in the school theater, or Glee Club, they call it, Glee Club.
Glee Club.
Yeah. And so I was in the play, The Christmas Carol. And my mom, foster mom, she was really, she couldn't go to these things. Mrs. Bailey, Minnie Bailey, shout out to her. May she rest in peace. Minnie Bailey.
Shout out.
779 Riverside, we live in Riverside, Manhattan. Uh, so, mom, are you able to go to play? I can't. Okay, no worries. I'm up at the play. I'm the town crier. Ding 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 ding. 6 o'clock and all is well. 6 o'clock. That's all I said the entire play, like 4 times across the stage. So anyway, at the end, they're clapping and ovations for Mr. Scrooge and blah blah blah. And I come out and bow, and all of a sudden, some idiot comes down the aisle. Whoa! 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 It's Mr. Phil. I'm like, oh man, dude, what are you doing? He showed up. He showed up. Parent teacher night. I wasn't the teacher pet, but you might as well say I was. I mean, I was like you want me to? I was always so parent teacher night. Mom, you went? Oh, I can't. Can I go to school? Sure. Next thing I know, hi. Yeah, I'm here from the Cumbie. A fisherman hat and he already had a beard, but this fake mustache. I'm like, what the, Mr. Phil? May I talk to you, please? We got in the hall. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You are not my dad. And he leaned in ever so gently, and that warm breath hit my face. But he said, well, he asked, where is he? All right, come on, Mr. Phil. Come on in here. So anyway, the point is, what I took away from Mr. Phil's, he showed up. He showed up. He showed up. I never had to ask. This man kept showing up places. And later I found out every time he showed up, he was drunk. I didn't know. And Mr. Phil gave me this back then. The movie or whatever the play Grease came out, and the little Grease whatever the movie was. Maybe it wasn't Grease, but they had a little switchblade comb. You like a little switchblade, but it's really a comb.
Yeah.
The Warriors. Maybe it was the movie The Warriors. But anyway, he gave me one, and I promised I was gonna give him one back. Anyway, come to find out, I had to move. They told me I was up for adoption, and I was like, "No, man, I'm not leaving this home." And this is the home where she said, "This is my last home." I'm talking about every day I was trying to take my bag with me. She's like, "Where are you going?" Not with that bag. Yeah, but you not with that bag. I call myself hiding it, put it under the bed. I come home, the bag is open, unpacked, clothes are put away, and we never talked about it. 6 months of doing this dance. I never once said, leave my bag alone. She never once said, quit. We just did this dance, and then finally she won. I got tired of getting that bag every time. But so the people, I had a chance to see if I liked them. I would go to their house, spend the weekend with them. I sabotaged it on purpose. I piss all over the bed, whatever. But I'm such a bad kid. You don't want me. Then they put me in the orphanage way up in Rochester, New York. Put me up in the orphanage. And nobody was coming to get my black ass. I mean, it was just like I was watching kid after kid after kid just go. I wouldn't call them major fights, but we had our little spats. But my goal was you cannot lose. Because for whatever reason, I thought if I lost the fight, no parent would come and get me. So when they picked on me, I would go into this outrage. And my whole thing was you have to win. But then when I thought about it later in life, it was the same thing my mom would say. Like, I didn't come home from a ass whooping in the street. I mean, I can run home, but by the time she looked at me and said, what's going on? Nothing. I'll be right back. And I wasn't winning fights because I was a fighter. I was winning fights because she wasn't going to kill me.
Indeed.
I know that much. I don't know how this is going to end, but all I can tell you is I am not going. The only way I'm going home is in the body bag. So but that rage would kick in, and I would just go ballistic. All right, so bring this story to an end here. Bland is playing. Finally, this dude adopted me and I had no choice. And by that time, I had what's called a guardian, or I had a guardian. Everywhere I went in New York, she had to go with me. If you remember the old movie called Gloria, she was like a police officer, had to watch this kid. So like she was my Gloria. She was big though, looked like Mrs. Doubtfire. But I didn't know I was an officer. I never knew. I never knew. So anyway, she was with me and she came to the school with my bag. That bag had not been touched in 3 years, 3.5 years. So the only thing I could think of was my foster mom had passed. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, oh, it's one of those stories.
Right.
And it wasn't some dude. I had to be adopted by him. So I thought it was my dad. Like, I mean, I didn't know it then, but I'm like, oh, I have no choice. Nope. Anyway, you are going to go to Minnesota And I was like, okay. So I put one band on one sister. I don't know if you can see these, and one band on another. So I wear these. I've been wearing these since 1982, 83. Not this one band. The original band broke, but these have been on since 1988. Original Sears washer bands. These have been on since 1988. No lie, these bands right here. Because I don't take them off for no girlfriend. Only time I take them off is you go to jail or the hospital.
True indeed.
Anyway, yeah. So I put one on each sister, and I said, when we reunite, we'll cut them off. We still have them.
So
I get to Minnesota.
Hey, you said when you guys reunite, you're gonna cut those bands off.
Yeah, I'm 50 now. Yeah. So my social worker said, when you get to Minnesota, we'll give you the contact information to your sisters. Bet. Because we got split up because my mom did those shenanigans too many times. I was 10 years old last time we were at her house. She said, you gonna stop all this so we can be a family again? But I wasn't getting beat in those homes, and that home wasn't getting beat. So I was like, she said, that's okay, you tell me in the morning. In the morning, she got up 6 o'clock. What's up? We're gonna be a family again. You're gonna stop all this? Is the only reason we won't be a family is because of you. We're gonna be a family again. I was like, and that's the last time I saw her. I was 10 years old. I've never seen my mom since. She said she's going to the store. She'll be right back. Never saw her again. So that big D word, disappointment and betrayal. Okay. So then now I'm going to get adopted. Where's Minnesota? And my therapist, it's a paper. Oh, I don't know where I get broken off at. What was the last part you heard?
Minnesota.
Okay. So I thought that one piece of paper was all of New York. So when you talking about, here and there, it's 2 hours away. I got on the plane, 2.5 hours. I landed. Hello? Yeah. Hey. Oh, what we meant to tell you was when you turn 18, you can have the information. Excuse me? When you turn 18, BITCH, I was just there 2.5 hours ago. You told me when I landed in Minnesota, I'm in Minnesota. Yeah, I made a mistake. It was a long 5 years without my sisters. But can you imagine what ran through my head? The fact that I got on one knee and I looked both my sisters in the eye and I said, I will call you. Disappointment. Betrayal, disappointment. Mom, female. Sisters who I betrayed, female. Grandma, hearing her stories, betrayed, disappointment. One other thing without the story, my mom got pregnant once and told me it was my fault. And she rectified it on her own, told me I could not close my eyes. They make plastic hangers now. Back then, they were made out of metal. You don't want to watch. But... So technically, I would have had according to her, I would have had another sister. According to her. But because of me, she went on. Okay, so all that's locked in his brain. My adolescent years, I was a monster. I didn't give a shit about no girls. I was crazy. I was a rapper. I was MC such and such. The Fat Boys. Now, the Fat Boys, Run DMC, they're all whatever we want to call them, whatever they were. Back then, the hardest was LL. Like as far as hard, but for whatever reason, boy, I sure did time. I love them. I love me some Run DMC, Public Enemy, Chubb Rock. Then I had to become an MC. Tell my pain, tell my story. But it was nothing about blow this and blow that and suck this, and it was nothing of that. But I was like the Fresh Prince. I would do story rhymes, food, and I started swelling up too. Because when you get bullied for a while, after a while, I was like, well, if I get bigger, nobody messes with me. So I was intentionally getting bigger, just to feel bigger. But reckless with it. I was getting fat. That's what I was. I was fat, but I actually felt like no one messed with me then. And it was weird because the bigger I was, the more attention I got, like girls and different things. Like, I start rapping about food. One day I went to Burger King. I ordered 7 Whoppers and onion rings, a giant milkshake with lots of French fries with the 5 pumpkin and apple pies. And my fat ass was proud making them rest. Yeah. But I was known like the Fresh Prince as like story rhymes or story raps, and then I was in groups. We was like the Run DMC, and then I started battling folks, and so I wasn't the number one, but MC Shamrock, Minnesota, from 1986 to 90, MC Shamrock. But it's all before YouTube, and I was on BT, but I have no like real receipts to show. You just have to kind of do the if you do enough work, you'll find it. MC Shamrock. Then I was doing educational raps because the people who put their boots in my behind said you cannot fail. You cannot fail. And all that rap stuff you're doing is cute, but then you turn around and doing all this to these girls and taking them to your house and doing all these crazy things, and really, and that's how you act. And then what if that was your sister? I love when people ask me that question. What if that was your sister?
Mm-hmm.
But when they ask me, what if that was my mama? Nah, you better off by asking me if that was my sister.
What?
So, so anyway,
That baby.
how in the world do I now pay back Mr. Phil? How in the world do I pay back my stepdad/dad? How in the world do I pay back Mrs. Bailey, my foster mom? How in the world do I pay back my sisters for the times of disappointment and betrayal? First thing you need to do is become a drug and alcohol counselor, because the people out there who don't get it, they're on drugs. I need to help. This is for Mr. Phil. This is for Mr. Phil. And then, but people couldn't understand. I didn't understand why this stuff happened to me, and I couldn't understand why people would say, well, I would never get on drugs. And then I watched them get on, like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. All right. Why is this happening to me? I'm talking about working with people like Pookie, from New Jack City, like working with him, like, why is this happening to me? And I'm like, I don't know, but you gotta, and I thought I could force people to stop. Like, I would shake them and want to fight them and beat them, and you have to stop. And then don't have kids. Oh, I was going to save all the kids in the world. I'm talking about save all the kids. You an addict? I'm getting them kids. And I'm talking about non-911 and non-social work, because they're just going to take the kids and do what they want. No, I'm rescuing them. I call myself like setting up homes like, hey, Mrs. Johnson, no, I want to bring a couple kids. Could you watch them for a few? So I'm laughing because could you watch them for a few hours? And Mrs. Johnson's like, okay, sure, man. I was setting up an orphanage. I was like, here you go. She's like, what? Stop. Oh man, it was crazy. But I that's all I knew. So you got to become a drug and alcohol counselor to pay back, to give back, to pay it forward for the addicts out there. Start getting into that work. But then I realized the addiction itself was not the problem. People had mental illness. Like, you crazy. It was like, oh, what's this thing, mental illness? I had to learn about that. And then it wasn't just that, it was the environment they were in. Because you put them in a certain environment, they thrive. You put them over here, they're right back in that mess, they don't thrive. So it's the environment. Criminal justice. Why you have to steal everything? Well, it was in the house, but damn, you're a thief. And criminal justice. Survival. Whoa, you were stealing. Yeah, but it was, I got to make sense of this. I got to make sense of it. And then to do the work that I wanted to do, you have to get licensed. All right, fine. And then I said, okay, well, fine, I'll go to school. But I really wasn't feeling it. I got heavy into martial arts. I thought I was going to be the next Steven Seagal, walking around counting beads and stuff. I thought I was going to do it all, man. I was counting beads and stuff. But then there was a school, new martial arts school, Chung Mu Do. Chung Mu Do teaches 7 martial arts, taught as 1. But this was nothing like there's nothing like the mixed martial arts now. It's nothing like that. You just learn 7 different styles. But they opened a school in Dallas. And then I went to Dallas. I was going to be one of the people who lived at the school. I was going to be the next kung fu guy, just down there, having a good time. But then a job offer came up from my instructor to work with the DEA. And actually, it was the DEA, but they had a unit where, who was it, Clinton? Whoever the president was, Reagan? No, whoever the president was, they said, we'll give you money if you create a unit of officers that are going to do drug busts, but you had to have a social worker on the unit. Because it used to be where everyone just went to jail or the kids went to some group home. So the social worker, their job is to take the kids and reunify them with family, do family liaison, court liaison, and then so 20 hours a week I'm suited and booted. I go in last. They all go in. I go in last if they have kids. And then, like I said, the other 20 hours a week, I'm doing social work type stuff. But I lied. I said, I have my degree. I'm like, yeah. And I said, yeah. Well, I just need a couple more classes. But since I was referred by my martial art instructor, who was the best friend of one of these guys, they said, come on with it. Yeah, 1 year. And that year flew by. But that's when I saw the other side of the world. I saw dirt, like in Texas. You go to the jail sentence is determined by the weight and by the money and all that. Like they add stuff based on the weight. And so sometimes we go to the house and the person will be like, that's not mine. And my team members will be like, we didn't think it was. We didn't think it was. And then my scary ass is like, because one dude said, yeah, it's 170,000. And when I get to jail, it better be all 170,000. When I get out of jail, it better be all 170,000. And I'll never forget my team leader said, I don't think it is 170. I don't. I was like, hey man, I think it's 170. Just leave it. My scary ass. I was like, hey man, and I'll never forget, like, I'm gonna get deleted because of these dudes, man. Like, and I was on the team, but I really wasn't on the team. Like, that was my first time really seeing, like, whoa, this stuff is serious. I was just a little social worker.
Right.
Anyway, a year came up, I got fired. They said, yeah, you don't have the degree, but I think part of the reason of letting go is because they realized, I wasn't down there snitching, but they could tell I was uncomfortable. So, but my boss was cool. He said, you know what, you don't have your schooling. Let me send you to Arizona. We got this program. You can go there, and it's an accelerated program. Your career here, I'll put it on hold. You have a career here if you want. Go get that degree and come back. We'll pay. What? And it's an accelerated program. Half of your work experience is going to count as credits. I couldn't turn that down. So I went, and the school went by like that. And then, but it was for an associate. I said, well, I need a 4-year degree so I can become like licensed at some point. So I talked to them. They were like, yes, go ahead. You think you can get it done in a year? Sure. Worked it out. Boom. Got a bachelor's. Like, wow. And I didn't know anything about anything really. I just got the degree so I can go back to work. But then I started getting into mental health. And and my internship was in the state hospital and at the county jail, Adobe Mountain Juvenile Detention Center, sex offender unit. And that was my first hit. Like, wow, these young boys, teenagers, and how many of them have been impacted? Now they're doing these crimes. Impacted, and then they're doing these crimes. Impacted, messed with, and then they're doing these crimes. I'm like, so it wasn't like I needed to save them, but it's like I get this. Damn the DA, this right here. That drug enforcement unit is like, that was a special unit. I liked it, but this here, I got to help these guys. So I started doing that work, but I had to get licensed. And so the one day, one night, Saturday was supposed to be all right. But what I found out later, they said, we have a bridge program. You go from your bachelor's degree to your PhD. It's like a bridge over the master's. So, all right, let's do it. I didn't know anything about accreditation. So when I got to Minnesota, I was working at the hospital for 5 years. They started having layoffs, and they said, oh, if you go get licensed. I was like, sure. I ran down there. The lady with the little glasses on the nose, going through my transcripts. None of it counted. Now, if I stayed in California or Arizona, I was worth platinum with that degree. Other than that, it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. If you leave that system, Globe College, Brown College, Globe University, one night. If you leave any of that, no other schools accept it. It's just boom. So I didn't know. So disappointment. Oh, I'm doing it again. And I'm going to the top school, so no one would ever call me a fraud, ever. And luckily, I wasn't running around, I'm doctor, because the people who put their boot in my ass, I never knew if they had a high school diploma. I barely knew their names. The people who were like, get your shit together, I'm talking about some OGs and people snatching me up. I don't know why I was always the chosen one. But them folks snatched me up and be like, yeah, what? I want to get involved. So, oh, no, it's not for you, little one. No, it's not for you, little one. You need to go on. Well, what? All right. So for whatever reason, I say my God, but my God saved me. Always make sure that I was shielded from it. But these people, I couldn't tell you if they had a high school diploma. I couldn't even tell you their last name.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start rising, I wasn't worried about if you knew I was what my status was. I didn't care. It was none of your business. And I started giving back to the community, and it was like this Robin Hood stuff. Like, I'm gonna go give back. I'm gonna give back into no one. Secret Santa, Secret Santa. So all that is what got me to where I am. But when I found out that the license I couldn't get my license, I redid schooling. I was trying to sue the Department of Education because my degree doesn't count. Y'all robbed me, but they said it counts. You just didn't know about accreditation. The Southwestern Collegiate is nothing according to the higher education, Northern whatever regional. But what school I got to go to? So then I worked my way up into Southern Cal. But they had a social work program, but I wanted to do more. Just give me the counseling thing, the quickest and the fastest. I was a quick. So I ended up going to L.I.A graduate school, got my marriage license, marriage and family therapy degree, and then I went for my professional counseling. And they had these rapid programs. They let me go through the program, boom, 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 boom. I am set. Wait a second, you gotta go get that doctorate from a credentialed school. And so I said, it was all ego. I said, I got to do it. I'll never again have someone look at me like you got to do it. All ego. And then some of the jobs I had, you have this license? Fine, I'll get them all. Certificate after certificate, the license was all ego, all running out of inadequacy. And boom, that's the long story of what got me to where I am today, because I want to minimize people feeling disappointing others. Can't control it. But I want to minimize why people feel. I want to offer them a sense of relief. No, that wasn't you. Mean I was? So I wrote a book called Bookends, and I said, well, if I publish it, then people think they're gonna just figure it out. Like, so I just do it when I go to workshops. Bookends, and what it is on this bookend between the ages of 4, 5, 6, and 7, what happened to you? What happens to you then? And all the Dr. Yahoos wrote this, so it's not something that I just made up and people think they can just cancel. Or I go on the panel and they're like, there's logic and that. Well, it's been around since the early 1900s, and it still stands that whatever happens to you between the ages of 4, 5, 6, and 7, this is Freudian, Adlerian, and all them folks, but this stuff still stands regardless if you believe it or not. We can always debate theory, but that's who you are for the rest of your life. Character-wise, that's who you are for the rest of your life. Then I found out when you're in the womb, I started doing neuroscience. I started finding out that what happened to the brain when you were in just the womb, impacts who you are 30 years later. It's like, whoa. So I wanted people to know it is not your fault. It is not your fault. No, it is not your fault. And sometimes I have pushback when I'm listening to your show, like, stop all the foolery. Y'all need to wake up. I'm like, yeah, yes, that's true. They need to, but somehow somebody has to wake them up so they can wake up. Somebody has to wake them up, like they have to show them, because if not, they see the benefit, the payoff, the feel good in the effery. It feels good. Even when I'm stealing bread, the payoff is I got something. I got a piece of bread. And now here's someone telling me, you need to stop. What are you teaching your kid? I'm teaching them to eat. That's what I'm doing. How dare you? Now I feel offended against you. Like, how are you telling me to stop? How are you telling me? Because all I see is this immediate gratification, this immediate comfort. And the other way is too much work. Why can just jack somebody? Why am I going to go get this job and work 40 hours and I get this in 40 minutes? And so my goal was to teach. You can get that in 40 minutes. You can. The little seeds that you plant, how much will that grow? And then see your shorty right there? I remember being in TGF, and I'm going off my thing now, so I'll land with this. I remember being in TGIF restaurant, TGIF, thank God it's Friday restaurant. And this dude just snapped on his kid, and I froze. I mean, he was giving the kid the business, and the waiters and the servers were all like, oh, and I just froze. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I went over, and I remember having that fork in my hand. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I mean, but this fork was in my hand. I was like, oh, no, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, what? I'm a who? He's looking me up and down, and I'm willing to bet my best tickets that dude could have did whatever he wanted to me. But for whatever reason, because I didn't see him, like, and I don't mean this in a threatening way. I just didn't see him. I saw that kid. And there was nothing he could say. There was no amount of swelling up in the world that meant anything to me other than that kid. And all I remember was then coming back with the red fork. And all of a sudden, all that energy that guy had just turned. Like, what really woke me wasn't the red. What really woke me was hearing his squealing. Ah, you love it. And that squealing just didn't match what he was. It's like, oh my gosh. And I was just talking the other day on the BMU network about, anger. You I had to learn to control it. It wasn't that I was just this big monster, but you just never know. You snap your face, never know what you can do, or I can end up being deleted. So that's my long-winded answer, and I apologize it took me so long. As you would say, I apologize for being so long-winded. Is my answer.
We got the whole life stories. Quite interesting passion and where it comes from.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an inspiration and motivation for me. You are the child that I'm trying to save. I am trying to awaken the parents that you had to experience, because they still exist. Ain't nothing changed. So each one will teach one. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And that's just how positive I am. Somebody get yelled at or smacked, because some others, if there was someone in her life to prevent her, a mother or a sister or somebody to say this is not okay. You know what I mean? And that's what it be, because a lot of us do is see it and we allow it and we don't say nothing. We don't give no pushback, and they think it's okay. And children grow up in these environments thinking it's okay, and they have no voice, nobody to speak up. That's my passion. And I'm going to keep fighting for you and all the other little boys, little girls that are now grown who needed it back then. But we appreciate you.
We do.
Sharing.
We do.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you sir, for sharing. And we appreciate the person that you become
Yes.
in the face of, your unique experience. So thank you for being here. Let's watch a video and let's unpack it.
And not in a good way. He gets upset here after Brunson, who had 45 points in this game, by the way, took that shot. The good teammate that he is, he walked all the way back on the defensive end of the floor, pouting like a little baby. Grow up, Julius Randle. It's a 1-point game. Go play defense, my man. Knick fans, how are we feeling, bro? If I can't put up with this, recalls for immediate benching. How do you put up with a guy who acts like this when things don't go his way? This just tells me that Julius Randle will never be a winning player, because anytime there's adversity, he's just gonna crawl back into his little shell like a little baby. He's gonna go pow, wham, wham, wham. You're a grown-ass man. Get over it. Julius Randle shot 25% from the field yesterday. 5 of 20, bro. And he's upset that he didn't have the opportunity to go 5 of 21. Oh my goodness, man. This is pathetic. You get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to be a professional. Go out there and do your job, man. Do your job. Giving 100% for 39 minutes out of your day is unexcusable. For the amount of money you make, you're a joke.
Since we all New Yorkers here, shout out to New York. We all New Yorkers here. Shout out to the Knicks and the Nets and the Yankees and the Mets and the Islanders and the Rangers and all of them.
Ciao.
Right. So I bring that up because shout out to Lady Di and my brother James, man.
You ain't lying.
Knicks trash. What up, fam?
Cold. That's
they came in hot. Okay, World Class is in the building too. What up, World Class? But you guys see a sports game. I see American society. I see relationships, Doc. I see millennials. Doc ran away. I see it all in this clip, guys. Doc will probably be back in a second. And the missus will be back in a second too. She probably took a bathroom break. Y'all know how that go. But what do you guys see in this video? I see, like the man described, a horrible teammate. That's one of the worst things to have on your team, is a horrible teammate. Hey, Doc, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. I'm gonna move around. Guess my signal's not as strong as I like. So I'm gonna move around, but I'm listening. I'm here.
Do your thing. It's your night. Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
A teammate like this, that's where I first started out. This is, for me, indicative of society, indicative of relationships, indicative of the younger generation, and even of the older generation as well. Bad teammate, when things don't go your way, you're not giving 100%. Like this is very telling that we need to be better teammates. We need to be better individuals that contribute to the team so that we win, because we lose when we become selfish, when we become lazy, when we become self-beneficial. When things aren't working out for us, we're going to make sure it doesn't work out for everybody. What do you think about the clip that you see playing and what I said so far, Doc? Doc will let us know when he come back. What do you guys think in the chat? The missus said, damn, yeah, he breaking, missing a bunch. Knicks is trash. We got that established already. Absolutely. I wouldn't disagree. But let's take it from the top and let's unpack it. What do you guys think out there?
Julius Randle is a problem and not in a good way. He gets upset here after Brunson, who had 45 points in this game, by the way, took that shot. The good.
Okay. So his teammate who took the shot and missed that he got so upset about was actually having a really good game. He had 45 points. So why are you upset that he's shooting the ball for? This is, again, a selfish teammate. This is what we have to look for in platonic relationships, romantic relationships, professional relationships. Bad teammates, people that don't want you to do well if they're not doing well.
Upset here after Brunson, who had 45 points in this game, by the way, took that shot. The good teammate that he is, he walked all the way back on the defensive end of the floor, pouting like a little baby.
Mrs. Harris, again, for me, indicative of relationships, of men and women, their interaction. When something don't go your way, pouting like a little baby, quote unquote, crying, like people quick to play that card. Oh, you're just crying. Y'all sitting in these boxes.
I've never seen
crying.
so many tantrums in basketball in all my life.
Unbelievable.
Been turned off the last maybe 10
what do you
years.
think about just having a teammate that isn't happy for success of everyone?
I mean, it shows the character. It has to show in their character. You do not. That's when you don't give up. The last 2 minutes of the damn game. Like, and that just walking, that taking his time to go down to the end of the court and do his job. No, you got to suck that shit up when you on a team and y'all have a goal. Where he learned that at?
Grow up, Julius Randle. It's a 1-point game. Go play defense, my man. Knicks fans, how are we feeling, bro? And I can't put up with this. This recalls for immediate benching. How do you put up with a guy who acts like this?
And this is, again, look at the effort he puts into shooting. But since it didn't go in, if it would have went in,
how do you put up with a guy who acts?
But since it didn't go
in, like this when things don't go his way.
When things don't go your way.
Right. Expect it to go in.
And this is why, Mrs., I reference sports so much, and it rings true to relationships, platonic, romantic, business, and otherwise, because it's indicative of your personality. How many times I told you I don't even need to watch a whole game. I watch one play. I could tell you about all the 9 guys on the court, how they are off court. I ain't even talking about on court.
Yeah.
It's just you personify what you are on the court. You need help. You need direction.
Mm-hmm.
You just lost.
Oh, it shows. You can see it, and us seeing the whole view. Yeah, we can see it.
Production.
Yeah, he showed it all.
Whether you're valuable, how long you need to be on the floor just to shoot one time and make it. That's only 2 points. You've been on the floor 40 minutes. You got 2 points. So again, productivity, all of these things come out. And if we got to keep you on the floor for 40 minutes for you to get 2 points, and if you don't, you're going to be running around mad, sabotaging the game.
That's probably why he don't get a lot of time. You don't deserve it. It's your attitude. Coaches know. You're not stupid.
Hey, Doc.
All right. Ain't that something, boy? See how the universe works? All right. So I'm so sorry. So I moved around and get a better signal. Thanks for you.
Yeah, no problem.
We appreciate you coming back.
We still unpacking.
I heard up until the question. I heard up until the question about what did I think about his. That's what I heard up to.
You should write a book if you haven't already. But he has, right? You have a book, right, Doc?
Doc has a
book. I have 4 books. 2 about parenting, 1 about communication, 1 about telling lies, and then I have my own my story, which I won't publish yet because it involves that section about is he my father? And if he is, people say you can pluck a hair, do the DNA test, but if he is, what's that conversation? What is it? So you talked about me, you talked of me, but you actually came and got me. But you're also the same dude that if it's not him, and I put that out there that he is. So anyway, so I do have that one waiting to be from a fallen sky to a lifetime home. So yes.
Right.
Okay.
Understandable.
So back to Julius Randle. How much did you get on that?
So he watched he played the game. They were saying all this money they pay him. Why is he acting a fool? They should be able to get this quality player. And his anger outbursts and all the behavior. So that's what I got.
Let's bring it back.
It just tells me that Julius Randle will never be a winning player because anytime there's adversity, he's just going to crawl back into his little shell like a little baby. He's going to go, pow, wham, wham, wham. You're a grown-ass man. Get over it. Julius Randle shot 25% from the field yesterday. 5 of 20, bro. And he's upset that he didn't have the opportunity to go 5 of 21. Oh, my goodness, man. This is pathetic. You get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to be a professional. Go out there and do your job, man. Do your job.
Let me ask you guys a simple question. Is it better to be a good player or a good teammate? Let's start with Dr. Nakumbe.
All right, so I have to break that question down. Now, this is not to have a long conversation. This is just simply, what do you mean by team player? Because there is no team if there's no me. And at the same time, I can't rely on the team. So there's no team if there's no me, and at the same time, I can't rely on the team. So I think in general, this basic answer is team player. You could do more talent, more whatever, more power, all of it. Team is better than I. Usually when I hear stories about those type of behaviors, where did that come from? Where did these behaviors come from? So if you go with my belief, the bookends, what's on the other bookend? What's the childhood? What happened? What happened that led him to believe in selfishness is the way? What led him to believe I shouldn't have to do all this? See, at the time of the desire of playing in the streets and someone is telling me you can make it to the NBA, you have skill, but was that truly the start of me playing? It could have been the parents saying, we're going to make you the next NBA player, or it could have just been me out in the streets playing. Was my actual dream to be in the NBA? And if it was I prepared for all of what comes with it? practice, leadership, being told what to do, teamwork. I picture the money, the
Cashing the
fame,
Mm,
right?
I don't
But
think
did I
nobody.
picture all that comes with it?
That's where
Any
I'll
person.
jump in, is because we didn't have to consider all of that when you were cashing the check, Doc. Like when do
Right.
we draw the line and not have to consider your 4, 5, and 6 because you've already made it to a professional $1 million occupation
Opportunity
where
to-
you've accepted the responsibility, signed the offer letter, and all of the things that we do for $25 an hour. So when does his, sophistication kick in?
Well, it doesn't. It has to come. See, until the pain of our consequences outweighs the joy of the behavior, we continue to do what we do. And so I'm signing up, and I get the assignment. But remember, if there's whatever the front end was, whatever that bookend is, comes with selfishness, comes with ego, entitlement, anger, and it even comes with hunger and a thirst. I appreciate the opportunity, but when that thirst goes away, I mean, look how many players that we hear about and don't hear about who, after a certain amount of time, they don't even go to practice anymore. They believe they should just be able to show up at the time of game
ain't
time.
no-
They don't even want no consequences,
No
right?
consequence.
Right. So I think holding people accountable and letting them know, I don't care if you make us $1 billion, gazillion dollars, if you can't follow the simple rules, we don't need you.
Good point. Good point. Mrs. Harris, think it's better to be a good player or a good teammate?
Teammate.
Okay. Why say you?
As I've
Teammate.
played on many teams personally, whether it's work, whatever the situation.
Teammate.
And when you have one person who thinks that they're the best player, it's hard to get the work done because there's too much ego. So for me,
Indeed.
personally, teammate.
Okay.
I can still
Let
be
me
the
throw in
best
that
on the
word
team.
betrayal. Let me throw in that word betrayal. If you've experienced significant, and I don't mean everyone's running around with trauma, but remember, you don't have
They
to
are.
have a sob story.
They are though.
Right.
They just don't
Right.
admit it. Like said, or
Yeah, they don't want to
did-
admit it or they don't know about it. Right. But
It
I
doesn't.
say anything could be trauma. It doesn't have to be that word, but a significant life event that represented some type of fear. So betrayal. If I believe I'm going to be betrayed, I can't even be in a one-on-one relationship, let alone a team. I can't even be in a partnership with one person, let alone a team. If I believe I'm going to be betrayed, disappointed, can you imagine we go a season and we lose? Come on. I mean, I'm angry because y'all, and I just become more and more, my belief in one, uno becomes stronger and stronger and stronger because y'all keep disappointing me. So team is better, but please understand, for those who are survivors, they may only see themselves as the team in order to get things done.
Okay. Lady Naveau is on the check-in. Hey, love.
Hey,
Hope
love.
you're doing well.
Welcome.
All right, Doc. The wheel. The wheel comes out now, Doc. And the wheel spins.
Welcome, wheel. The wonder wheel.
And let's go ahead and see what we got. Doc.
And I win.
What do you like about the opposite sex?
How wild can we? Oh no, is here. So Pastor Sheila. What? What do you mean? What I like about that? What do you mean? What do I like about him? Yeah, I love him. Yeah. You know what I like about the opposite sex? I like the ability to nurture the beast in me. So the safety, security, the nurturing, the softness, and also when if I'm able to match up with a good person as a friend, family member, or loved one.
Uh-oh. That was getting hot. That one was heating up. He was about to give it to us, y'all.
Made him giggle a little bit.
Yeah, it did make him giggle just a little bit.
Master. And manifest that perfect.
Okay, he'll come back and finish up that answer.
Making weird science.
Then we'll get to our next question.
Don't let that signal. Can you hear? Don't let the signal fool you. What do you like about the opposite sex? He ran. No, that's
got him. Amy got him. They like what he was saying. Somebody put him in the trunk.
Yeah. Or it's like he don't like no. But I love people who are able to nurture. I guess it depends on the role. It depends on the role. But I like the nurturing. But of course, that's what I'm hungry for from my childhood, right? But that's what I like.
Okay. What brought you to have a YouTube?
Kind of, just tell me. What brought me to
this space, YouTube podcast.
Yeah.
I'm used to live.
We land on you. How
I'm used to live stuff.
How in this particular circle that we found you?
All right. So I'm used to live stuff. Like these panels when people getting on, they swell all up, talk all crazy to each other. I'm used to that live where we get into heated debates. You know, I mean, heated face-to-face arguments and da-da-da. I'm used to live, but I'm old. I mean, I've been doing this since the early 90s into the 2000s. Then all the electronic stuff came in, social media.
If you don't mind, how would you say you are, sir, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I stopped counting at the 50. I think I'm 55.
55.
Yeah, I thought 68. What's 68? Whatever that is. So 53, 54, 55, somewhere in there. I really just stopped counting at the 50. So, but I grew up all previous to YouTube and all that. So that being said, social media that I grew into was like Facebook. And so how did I get on YouTube? So Facebook, they show those shorts and different things, those videos. And then Black Man Unfiltered did a short on vulnerability. I don't remember that short that he said, once you burn a man's vulnerability. So that ran across my Facebook thing. And I had my professional page, and then I have my own page. And back then, when I created the professional page, you couldn't have a page without having a personal page. So boom. That being said, Mrs. Precious, the real Precious. So it was her show that was highlighting his reel, and I replied, but from my personal page, which is crazy. And so, of course, but she was saying, "Hey, if y'all want to talk about it, hit me up." So I hit her up, but I imagine she saw my page and was like, "Who's this knucklehead?" So she didn't reply, but then I was like, I want to have that conversation about vulnerability. So I was hunting, and then finally was able to get to her and say, "Can I please be on the panel?" And so she did. She got me on the panel to talk about that show. So boom, did that show. And then I heard you, Mr. He said, if I'm not mistaken, on one of those shows about vulnerability. But when you spoke, and it's not blowing smoke or nothing, not bowing down or kissing. I mean, I made it publicly known, like, you awoke. I awoke. I listened to you. There's some people who I listen to, and I put all that psychobabble and all that knowledge and all my stuff to the side and say, don't forget, you might have read a book or two. You might have done a thing or two. You might have, but you still ain't. At the end of the day, I have to look in the mirror and see I'm just as human as anyone else. I'm just as effed as anyone else. And so from time to time, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I said I heard the world class speak one time. I'm like, this Negro. All right, dude, you got to wake up. So it was one of the things I heard, but then I watched you. I studied human behavior. And I watched you, and you were so, in my mind, you were so strategic. People were getting at each other on the panel, and you just was like, this mother, look at this dude. And my vision kind of
Baby
I'm
doll.
trying to get too theatrical.
Cool, man. Staying so cool. I be in a rage. I'm a fool.
Man,
He's cool.
I
I
thought it was
appreciate
just
it.
an image.
You know,
Yeah.
can learn to do that too. I can learn to do that
Yes.
too.
Right.
I want to get to that calm. Yeah.
And I told myself, because we tell ourselves all kinds of stuff, but I was like, that's how I'm gonna be on the panel. I'm gonna be like him. But then shit, it was 5 minutes later. Oh, this dude, look at that dude. Damn. And then you just said things that made. But when you landed with this, and I can't quote you, it's crazy. As much as I love the quote, I can never quote it correctly. But when you landed with something about, I hear you. I like what you said. I'm still gonna have my own opinion. I mean, I agree to disagree or something. But your thing of, I accept anything, but I still have me. It's like, I gotta hear more of his shit. And then I listen to you and listen to you. Then the misses when you came on, because I was like thinking you guys are clean. Don't know. No curse. No, because I told you, Mr. He said you just and what I believe, and I hate to be so long-winded. It's like, damn, this dude. And so, and then I chimed into Shame Sunday. This bleepity bleep and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, yeah, and I joke, but I'm not kidding. I had I was like,
light it on fire. It'll be set on fire.
listen, I was like this, no joke. But it was Pringles. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, crazy. I'm not messing.
And then I had the soda and stuff, and then you like, and the pop and the shit y'all drinking.
That's with your brain, man. That's with your brain.
That's right. That's right. That's right, my brother. Water.
And it was empty. And I was like, oh, well, I can't listen to you and eat this shit at the same time. There's no way I could do them at the same time. But when I heard the passion, I said, these are the people. Because there's people who talk out there and get into the entertainment. I like the entertainment. But remember my thing for noise, I can't really do too much of and I listened to some of the panels. If you saw the movie Scarface.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have.
But the dude at the end, the dude that came quietly with the shotgun. I mean, I'm no one important, but that's how I picture. You can get all the noise out there. Look at my friend, Bob. And I just quietly come up on that rail and just like, don't say a word. That's my thinking. But then I'm thinking everyone can be got. Tupac is gone. Scarface is gone. All the people are gone. And you two remind me of the people who we don't even see you coming. You just slide right up in the scene. Oh, what the? but it was so smooth that I said, you know what? They know something. And then the realness, and again, I'm not bullshitting you, but there was such a realness that I said, man, I gotta connect, because you can get caught up in the entertainment. People can get caught up in entertainment, the fun, the da-da-da-da. And I do what I do without being monetized. I'm not after the money. It's like, why do you, man, dude, you should be selling this stuff for like $1,000 a person, and the information you're giving your clients will be paying $300 an hour, da-da-da. But remember, Mr. Phil, remember my dad, remember the people who put their boot in my butt, remember that guy who out of nowhere said, hey, man, tell this dude to stay away. But no one would have given me that knowledge. And then I recognized that you weren't monetized. I wanted to hear a bunch of stuff about Cash Apps. And there was one show that you said something about Cash App. People out there, the Cash App, and my tail. Like 30 minutes later, was like, thank you for the Cash App, and the Cash App, you gave the Cash App, I never got a Cash App. And I thought, you And so that's what attracted me to you both. And then the relationship, the Brooklyn love story. You two, when you see things like relationship goals, and I have a lot of opportunities for status, based on status. Someone wants to be with a doctor. If you go to talking points, if you go with any of these talking points, I'll fit somewhere in there. I have just enough ghetto in me to satisfy that one. But just enough prestige and status and to satisfy. So I could be out here playing around relationships, like whoa, and even for a while, even Lady Di and James. So it's like now that. But sometimes I hear people on the YouTube and like certain women who would be like, and I would do anything and he wants, and make sure and if if you make sure you bow down, it's like, oh wow, and the guys in the background, oh I want her, I want her, I want her. But to me, that's not authentic stuff. Like when I hear you two speak about the fact that one might be ill and the person doesn't have to, ask. You don't have to ask for your partner to be there. It's like a no-brainer. And then the allowance to each other. Like, I know you don't, and now I don't, but does that matter? Does that matter? No. Stop all the BS. Stop all the BS. So when I listen to you, I listen with intent. When I watch what you're doing, how you break down the movies and the different messages, I listen. So again, I could be all the Yahoo, Dr. Yahoo I want to be, but at the end of the day, you take those titles away, take all that stuff away. At the end of the day, the raw me, I am in tune to what you two are about. And then your messaging. Come on, parenting, foolery, wisdom. And I scanned through your Facebook and stuff and looked at the pictures and I thought, wow, he is respected. They are respected. And I look at the images around you. Like I see monsters around you, and I don't mean bad people. I see like monstrous people who recognize you. Like these people are godfathers in my mind. Like but they recognize you. You are one of those people who, and I'll end with this, you too, and I only say about a few. There are a lot of people who I like and be like, oh, I hope they're always around. But you are one of those people that I say, at all costs, we have to protect. We have to do. So that was my first message. But then the last thing was you had a call out on the Shame Show about people talk about it, let's do it. And so you ain't said nothing but a word. This is what I've been doing for a long time. But sometimes I get tired. I get exhausted. Like, am I doing this because of my stuff? I make it too much about me. And it's like, calm down, dude. Nobody trying to hear that BS. You see what the real people are trying to do, the real streets. And I'm sorry that it happened to you. Relax. And then all of a sudden I hear your message and like, no, we're not stopping. And I've always been about the kids of the future, but when I heard some other people who made sense, like it's not even about you anymore. Thank you. Say it again, please. It's not even about you. And when our daughter looks back at this, and one of the things I don't talk about, all my relationships with anyone I get with, I turn so monstrous. I've destroyed so many opportunities. I've destroyed so many relationships because I didn't know how to have healthy relationships. It was about survival. And when I heard that you two like make it happen, like, dude, you claim that you can get with anybody because you would make it happen. Like I can get with someone and say, I understand the root of your behavior. I don't take it personal. But on the flip side of that, I was draining people. I get a woman and just drain her. Nothing was ever good enough. You should do. I'm not going to do that. Come on, after the commercial break. You should do. I'm not. I look after the commercial break. Just draining. I didn't realize that. And I watched you two, and I said, wasn't that draining? No, because depending on how you were thinking about it, no, it wasn't draining. I was proud to do that. So put all that together, and I haven't watched every single episode, but there are times when I'm like, damn it, that's Saturday, and I'm so thankful for the replays. Bloop. Receipts. Journalist. Journal integrity. Right? Thank you. That's how I got connected to you.
Appreciate
and
you.
then you
Appreciate
welcomed me. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I don't know how
you.
much
And
you said in the streets out there, but I've actually met you live.
we
So I don't know if
have.
that's known. I don't either.
In person?
It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was.
Pause.
I was destined. I grabbed my shorties and like, let's go, because
Take
I
this
do stuff
ride.
like the backpack drive. Yeah, and we went out there, and it was an absolute honor. I still have my shirt. Still have my shirts. So
Oh man.
I met you live, and so I invited, like, hey, I'm out on the East Coast. I sent out like 4 or 5 invitations, male and female, because some people think some of the invites were just to the certain females. You want to try and what? And so that's another thing. People think it's always about the. It is not always about that for me. In fact, I get a greater orgasm up here than I do. So some people didn't even want to meet, but then I realized like, oh, that's right, this is YouTube. These people are they not
Yes.
these aren't your
Yeah.
friends. You know, these aren't your friends. So I was like, oh, so anyway, it was an honor to meet you.
Likewise. It was absolutely an
Yes, it
honor
was.
and a pleasure. It was a great day. We gave out a lot of book bags.
Yeah.
Kids had smiles on their face.
See your
And
beautiful,
that's what we
intelligent children.
and you just came
Yes, thank
came
you.
out right into place,
Yes.
man. Just a people person and just an acceptable person. I've seen so many different crowds around you. It's like Doc is just
Doing magic tricks
right
and
at
stuff.
home, straight
Yeah.
as felt
Right,
straight in.
He's quite a
It was
magician.
amazing. It was amazing.
right,
But
right.
let's pivot for a second. Let's have a bit of fun. Angel is in the chat. Thank you for joining
Hey,
us. We
now.
appreciate you. Ashanti or Alicia Keys, who is more beautiful? It's a hard choice. Both are beautiful.
Shanti
What
or
would you
Alicia
say
Keys?
first?
I'm a
Mrs.
character person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Doc
me
Stone.
as well.
Okay.
Beautiful.
all
I gotta
right.
go with Alicia Keys.
Okay. Alicia Keys or Ashanti.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Alicia.
I would too. I think it's
And I think it's because I get more over the years. I've got more of exposure to who she is.
Okay.
Like you said, her character. Ashanti, I don't really know her like that. You know what I mean? I really haven't gotten a whole bunch of exposure. I didn't look her up. I know she's from Queens.
Yeah,
she ain't really did a whole bunch
from your
that I know of. She ain't got no girls clubs or nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm here. You just beautiful. And what else?
Congratulations.
Right.
Right, congratulations. I mean, I know a victim story with her saving her sister, so she's Alicia Keys.
Okay.
For the win. But they're both beautiful women.
Absolutely.
We're gonna add that.
But I would go with Alicia. Well, just the organic beauty,
and I think her
the artistic nature,
that part of her character.
Yeah.
Coming into the industry and being forced to have this idea of beauty and makeup and all of that stuff, and her vowing to show that I can do that. And most women would say it's only because she likes it and she's cute already type stuff. No, just natural. Like that stuff, all that makeup, the lights, it all affects your skin. So if you're having skin problems, it may be that. Sometimes you got to give your face a break. So that part is beautiful.
Okay. All right, Doc, let's get you back on the seat. And this one is, what is your message to aspiring not only creators of content, but anyone thinking about the human service profession and wanting to advocate for humans, old, young alike, families and everyone else? What would be your message for them?
I say, one, know why you are getting into it. Why are you getting into it? If it's self-serving, because I find purpose in doing what I do. Like I said, if I can give to a family, if I could do for a family without them even knowing who I was, now that could be to a fault. Because when I go to other countries and they just throw their kids at me, I'm talking about get in the van, like 30 kids, like, they're going to fit in sitting on each other's laps and stuff. And now I figure they know I'm not going to go nowhere. I need my passport to leave the country. So it's not like I'm going to take the kids, but total strangers. And I take them to the mall. They had never been to a mall before. I mean, they're from the village and just like, and I'm just grinning ear to ear, that perp smile, like, put them on the escalator. They ain't never been there. And I'm like, yeah, but just monsters, like, and then crying, like, rented out the theater Thor. I was gonna say Wonder Woman. Thor, the one with the Hulk was in it, but Thor and Valkyrie, and the plane crashes, and then she gets off the plane, and that sister's fine too. But she gets up and she swings her sword out, and I watched this whole row of kids just, and I was like, wow, I ain't never seen her like that before. Wow. So, but then sometimes I get a kick in the butt to remind me, what are you doing this for? Because I did a Secret Santa, and I'll wear Target colored clothes, look like I'm an employee. I'm here to help. And I'll just rush out of nowhere, like I'll hear a family, put that down. We don't have no money. Put that down. Not nowhere. Oh, that was on sale. Here, ching, we got it today. Good night. And I did this for a family. And the dude he didn't speak no English, and I ain't speaking no Spanish. Even though I'm from Harlem, I forgot all that. All I know is Mira. And so it was like, the daughter was like, oh, free. And I swiped my credit card, and before the thing could even go through, he was gone. And I'm like, mother, didn't even say thank you. And that's when it hit me. My boys was like, wow, he owed you a thank you. You ran your happy tail over there, but he owed you a thank you. And so every once I have to hit that reset. And so I say, please remember, why are you doing this? How much of you do you invest in this? If you are forgetful, you are dealing with humans that have personalities, characteristics, things that you'll like and won't like, and it won't be about you, but you also have to be ready because you're dealing with humans. And a person persuaded against their will is of the same persuasion still. I don't care how much you do for someone until the pain of the consequences outweighs the joy of their behavior, until they connect with their God, until they realize this is worth it, until they understand is greater than who they are, until they really accept and adopt and believe and breathe that they are ready to change. Until that happens, if you get into the human services field, believing you're going to make a change for you, you are going to have to deal with disappointment. So toughen up your skin, be ready to deal with disappointment. You don't have to sit down because you're disappointed. It just meant that that particular person, that particular family, that particular unit wasn't quite ready. But then now that you sat down, take a breath, and back into the game. So be ready to sit down, stand up, build up your stamina. This is a long distance thing. This job is long distance. And then once you commit to someone or something in this process, anything from being a clerk at the county with the people getting welfare, and you're able to say, relax, calm down. I see you as a person. That this is another what. Once you commit to showing people that they can do better and be better, then you also have to be ready. You have to be ready to live that image also. You know, that heckle and jive, heckling Clyde and whatever, whoever they are. Those two that switcheroo, you have to be ready to live what you are speaking. You have to be ready to be that person, that personality, that leader, whatever you want to call it. Be ready to speak your truth. Because if you're out there telling lies or being deceitful or running game, you'll be exposed. You'll be exposed, and it's a wrap. So that's my 2 cents for those who want to. That's my 90 cents of.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate
Not just
that.
2, but 90.
And shout out to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I believe that's what he was alluding to. While we wait for Doc to come back, the poll is in. I believe Alicia Keys has taken the title tonight.
Okay.
But Quiet Storm will take Ashanti because
she ain't got no babies.
She ain't got no kids.
Don't look like she gonna have it. She might
no kids.
Because you're a female don't mean you want babies.
And shout out to the Quiet Storm for the Cashapp that he dropped, man. We appreciate you, bro, for being an amazing moderator and giving us the inspiration to keep doing what we do, man. Thank you.
Look here, baby, bro. I'm a little light right now. Could you let me hold some change?
Brothers and sisters, give me your grit money. Give me your weave money. Give me your perm money. Your Jordan money.
Shout out to Quiet Storm. We appreciate you,
brother.
Man. Doc, I got a question for you. What am I looking at right here? What am I looking at?
I can't see it. Oh, I can zoom. All right, what are you looking at?
The part you're not told.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor.
The part you're not told. That's my workshop for black men. I think it says brown or black men, men of color. The part you are not
Indeed.
told. The part we are not told. I tell it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell it. I tell it. It's for brothers who don't get it, and they swear they get it, but they don't. And it doesn't have to be filled with psychology. It does not have to be filled with psychology. We get to raw. We have raw conversations. Everything from why do you think the way you think? Why do you do the way you do? Why are you so angry? What's the payoff of your anger? Also, what's the payoff of the skills you have? A pimp is a pimp, is a manager. A manager knows how to run things. Okay, you can be a pimp, but what's your end game? You can be all the things you want to be. What's your end game? You can run through 500 females if you want. What is your end game? Let's talk about it. Because while you think
STD.
you have game going on, there's some other things happening that are destroying. You are helping to destroy. So let's get at it. So the deepest part is, remember the bookends I talk about? So for the brothers, I talk about, do you even know this deep end? The bookend over here and the pain that you've been holding on to? Do you know why you do what you do? Do you know why you do what you do? Because they don't talk about it when you go to the doctor. They do not have these conversations when you go to the doctor. The guardian ad litem says, I'm here for you. But yet, every single time they write the report, it says, do not endorse to give them their kids back. But they'll, oh, you got the job. You're doing great. Oh, I'm so proud of you. They are not your friend. Sorry for the background noise. They are not. The part they did not tell you when you believed you were going to get this and believed you were going to get that. No. Stop telling all your business. I know you want to be liked and accepted, Mr. Talker, right? Mr. Talker. But learn some control. Learn control and why. Be strategic. So that presentation, actually I tour. When I do that presentation, I try to hit as many cities, states, urban, honor, wherever the brothers are to try and get the message out. And or then the second round, that's part one. That's part one. Once we talk about who we are, why we are, then the next one, part two, is you bring your partner, you bring your woman with you. And she gets to hear, you get to help tell her the part that you didn't even know before. Because how many sisters believe they are the problem? They are at fault. Should I lose weight? Should I do this for you? Should I be more freaky? Should I do your cousin? Should I do this? Should I do that in order to keep you? In order to keep you? You did such a great song and dance, and let me be better. And let me be better. Stop, brother. Stop. That level of deep intimacy you looking for, or that nurturing you were looking for, that was from your mama. Not dating your mama, but you were looking for your mama. And you worked hard to get this good ass woman, the Alicia Keys. You worked hard to get her this total package. And then once you finally got her, you spent the rest of the time trying to break her. Trying to break her because of the betrayal, right? Your own mama left you. And remember, it doesn't have to be some sob story. Mom could have been sick, so we had to go to the grandparents. Dad had to work abroad, so we had to go work abroad out of the country, not work abroad. All right, so the dad had to work out of the country. We got to go to grandparents' house. And when we leave our parents, that's a sense of betrayal that gets locked in the brain. Like, I don't want to daycare. Going to school. Temper tantrums, but that is a form of betrayal. Every single one of those separations is a form of betrayal. Now I'm at grandparents' house. We have a fabulous time. And now a month later, it's time to go back to our parents' house. That's another form of betrayal. But grandparents, why do we have to? So all this betrayal, and it locks into the brain. And the brain says, no matter how good of a situation you have, it will go away. So don't get that job. You're going to lose it. Don't fall for the okie doke. You're going to lose it. And now you had this good woman. And already you can't wait to see how she's going to mess up and all the tests we put them through to prove you really love me. Why you really love me? Because all this time I've been thinking I'm a piece of, and so why making you prove when I don't say the words, it's just stuff like let's use your credit to buy something, and you do this for me, and if you really love me, and if you really, and be quiet and da da da. Stop. Why are we doing that? Why? No, because you haven't been told. Let's talk about it. So part 2, now bring your woman, tell her about it. I'm not talking about just being vulnerable. I didn't tell you that time when I was 6 and I got, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know what? I realized I put unfair pressure on you. I realized that what I was really looking for was to heal, and I was trying to use you to heal. I realized that when I snatch you, that's because I'm afraid. I don't want to lose you. So I know how to use my power. I know how to use my fist. I know how to use anger, but I've been using it inappropriately. I didn't realize all the time I spent with my friends because I feel like I had you in lock and key. Not literally locked you up, but once I secured you, not even realizing that was like a kind of a lock and key, and I go hang out with my boys, I didn't realize that was a form of neglect. I didn't realize that was a form of betrayal. I didn't realize that when we have sex and we're really getting into it, and you're into it, but you don't feel me. When you say I don't feel you, I'm not talking about because of size. I'm talking about I don't feel the energy. I didn't feel the spiritual connection. I didn't feel you. But I didn't tell you the reason you didn't feel me is because I'm going through the motion, but all that energy goes into the videos that I watch when I'm telling you I'm just checking my email. All that energy goes, this like 20-minute session we had of love making. Love making for who? Oh, my version of love is you can, you can, you can, you can, you can. That's my version of love. My bad. My bad. But then I go and watch the Asian women, lesbian, romantic, soft kindness, nurturing. I get the nurturing through the women's touching each other, but then bring the heat to you. Misplaced intimacy. Misplaced intimacy. So I didn't know. So then there's a 3-part series. The third part is now that she knows, then we celebrate. The third one is actually a big celebration. Not a rebirth or anything like that, but maybe we didn't have spirituality and we now reconnected. I know I got a greater sense of purpose of why I am, who I want to be, and how we are. How we are. We do some healing work together and then we celebrate. So it's a 3-part series, but it starts with part 1, what they did not tell you.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. Sounds amazing, Doc. You doing the work out here, man. Yeah. You doing the work.
Gentlemen, check it out. Sounds like a great workshop.
Thank you. The woman version of that
workshop for
women.
women.
The woman version of that is called the woman part of that's called Bookends. But that one is for a specific group. Like you have to be 35 and older. 35 and older, because at that time when you should be coming into either like leadership roles or starting your family. But now I know there's debate about start them at 21 or start them at 15 or start them at, and that's cool for whoever wants to that debate. But I'm talking about when because I know for me, family was the last thing on my mind because like I had to prepare myself for my sisters when I turned 30, and I finally said, "Oh, I'm gonna go find my sisters at 30." And when I got that letter that says, "Oh no, you'll never find them. That stuff is a court like document, or you'll never find them," and I kind of like buried that life. It was over. So then, to me, for whatever reason, I locked into this belief at 30. Some of the foolery is gone. 25, my brain is fully developed. 30 is this magic number. But I felt like sisters who go through a lot of BS with brothers, a lot of BS in these relationships, a lot of BS with themselves. It's not always the brothers. There's not always some. And now I go a deeper level with them because the impact of the society we live in is all sexualized, objectifying women. So you get an 8-year-old to walk across a room, and there's somebody looking at them in the way. And women sense that, and then you grow and develop and say, "Well, are you speaking for women? Are you a woman?" I'm not a woman. A lot of it was because of what I wanted for my sisters. And I was one of those guys who we laughing and talking and playing. And at the end of the day, I'm thinking, where are my sisters? I'm watching these two argue. Girl, blah, oh, I hate you. And their brother and sister. And I'm like, wow. I'm the one sitting at the Christmas party and I'm watching brothers and sisters exchanging gifts. And I'm like, wow, where are my sisters? I'm watching that dude say, touch my sister. Hey man, I like your sister. Mess with my. I'm talking about like grown. I listen to the Mandrells. My sister, my sister, my sister. I'm like, dang, dude, calm the fuck. Are you? Anyway, calm down. But then I start thinking, damn, my sisters. You know what? Wait a second. The sisters who are 30, are they being told about the bookends? The bookends? So the same presentation, but it's called bookends, is for Black women who are 30 and older who are like, I can't figure this out. Like, what is going on? Is it me? Did I do something wrong to take a wrong turn? Boom. So that's for them.
Okay. Appreciate you, Doc. Appreciate what you're doing. And like I said, sounds like an amazing series. The missus is doing some work as well. Like I said, Doc, you inspire us, you know, and we definitely want to continue to give back to the community. And the missus started a petition. You were able to, you know, jump in. I seen what you wrote. It was very inspirational as well. So, you know, Mrs., do you want to elaborate on that?
He actually did a video comment, which I appreciate as well. It's pretty much a petition to promote conscious parenting and the media consumption that our children are absorbing. And it's pretty much to bring in awareness. They're absorbing way too much, and we're not giving them any context, any clues behind what they are absorbing. Like you said, you know, we were a generation of being raised by the TV. Our children are a generation of being raised by the phones. So they as well, even if both parents are in the home, they're pretty much being neglected and not getting enough attention. That quality time, those conversations, not just those yes or no type questions. You got to have interactive type conversations with the kids. And it's just starting with the simple things, cooking together. Everything started in the kitchen when we was coming up. Families build in the kitchen. That was a thing. You know, we need to get back to that stuff. So I added an email specifically for that, for, you know, people who are looking for tips, strategies, resources in their area that they can't find. Because some people are not capable of finding the specific things that they need. Everybody is not comprehending everything. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
It is really hard to look in your city and your state to find specific things for your specific needs. So you can reach out through that email. If anyone, go check I put the link in the chat so you can read it, please, before you sign it. And if you agree, share with anybody you think who would also sign a petition. I'm not asking for any donations, just a signature. It's good enough.
Appreciate y'all both. Quiet Storm checked in. He said, Dr. Nakumbe, I was in Japan last month for almost 2 weeks. The whole trip, I received nothing but smiles. Goodness gracious. Happiness and pleasant looks. The femininity is oozing out of their veins effortlessly. Damn, that sounded like a shot, fellas.
Receive shots fired. Request squad 946.
7415. Any responding South cars? You have shots fired. Utilize caution.
It's oozing out of them effortlessly from their veins.
I mean, you know, I don't think they want to be men. The difference, our women here want to be men.
The missus put the email address up. All right, Doc, you're back. That's the link right there in the chat.
Yeah.
I got one more question.
Seems like I'm on Cricket Wireless here. My bad.
Nah, you're fine, brother. You are fine.
Just before we do, may I give a plug? Yes. May I give a plug about this, what the missus is doing?
Yes.
Because the way my brain works, when I hear stuff like that, I think of the people who are going to first start with feeling like you're being disingenuous. Like, oh, you had your fun. Now you want us to be mindful of what the kids are watching, or you had some circumstance that, oh yeah, so now because you experienced it, we should get out there. So I think from that mindset, and I say, okay, so we have this family, the sister who says, because you guys are out there in the front line. So your YouTube channel, I noticed you don't have thousands and thousands of subscribers, and partly because I don't hear all the fun entertainment part of it. So you get the people who are meant to be here, the people who want to be here, they show up. Those are the subscribers, the people who want to be here. So I listen to the misses, it's like, wow. So you have this sister, and no disrespect to you when I say this to you or your husband, I mean in a very positive way. You are a beautiful black woman, a beautiful black woman. I consider Mr. He said to be honored and blessed to be with someone like you. And that level of commitment to the family, but because I think the support that you have for each other, you are able to take that level of commitment and offer it out. But if you picture a target on your body, if everyone is sitting down, we're all kind of equal targets. But you two stand up. And I'm going to make this specifically to you, Mrs. She said, you stand up. And when you stand up, you're the tallest target in the room. So you take the hits. Now think about when Mrs. The Shame Show, when the Mrs. is on talking about this and that, sharing vulnerable, what we would say private information. But when I hear the sacrifice, I don't give a damn how private you think it is, because it's funny. Y'all don't want to hear about getting your vagina together, but if I had mentioned pussy, bleep, 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 it's all, oh, tell it, show it. But when I talk about healing it, then all of a sudden, oh. So I think about the people who are considering you to be disingenuous, and I have my armor on. And not that you asked, I'm just giving a totally different perspective to let you know. I put on my armor to say, well, wait a second, I'm ready. When they say we're built for this, it's like I'm ready, and now I'm signing up too, because the messaging back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, sure, we all had our stage, we all had our era, we all had our period of time where there was some foolishness. This person was singing about that. That person was talking about booty cheeks and sex and all. Yeah, we all had our era. But the damage that's happening is getting worse. Then at some point, that stuff dies down. It doesn't even seem to be dying down. It seems to get worse. So nowhere in a billion years did I ever think to rap. In fact, the rap that I was not doing was the gangster rap. We still weren't talking about bleepity bleepity bleep. We're talking gangster stuff, and I just wanted gangster. So I was doing the Run DMC stuff, but it was gangster, and it was gangster about my pride going against your pride. It wasn't I'm the dummy. Look at my butthole. So it's like, wow, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Now, who am I to say worse? My version of worse might actually be good for someone else. Oh, here we go. I'm willing to say that. I'm willing to say you are correct. Your version is not worse. You're correct. I agree with you. May I share something with you? May I show something to you? Because who's worse? Your, in the same way you're worse. I can't, me, right? I for you. So pause. I doesn't match you. And I just want you to know what you won't match them. The next. So enjoy shaking your booty cheeks, but the message forward. And Mrs. She said is out there saying we got to be reasonable. We have to think. And you sitting there watching, and you just and it's shameful, and it's sickening. And so I armor up to say I'm down. I'm with the fight also. Not because I want to say, oh, I had my time watching and now you shouldn't. I'm saying you're not responding reckless with it. And as wild as we wanted to be, there was kind of a wall to it. There was a network that wouldn't allow it. There was a wall behind, no matter how crazy I got, there was a network that says we won't show it. And now that wall is gone. The wall is gone. So when I read your message, it's like, here's someone who recognizes, do your thing, but we done lost our mind. And who is it going to impact? Our safeguards that were there before, those walls are gone. And so I'm with you 1,000,000,000%. And I want to address the people who just don't get it, to say it's the part they didn't tell you. They didn't tell you how you're not going to get some royalty checks behind that. They didn't tell you your fame or whatever is only going to last for so long. They didn't tell you that you might as well put a tattoo on your face because you have marked yourself for life. This stuff is data. And when it comes back around, what job are you going to get? Oh, I ain't thinking no job. Oh, cool. Let me slow down. See what that sister's doing over there? How did she get there? Why is that okay? If that was your mama, and when we get to the point when we say, if that's my mama, that's her dumb ass. We got to that point where even if it's our mama, now earlier in the show, I said, if you said that's my sister, but if it was my mama, because of hatred. Back then, that's when I believed I hate my mom. I've forgiven her now. Now you can't talk about my mama that way, in that light, or my sister. But that was out of hatred. So why are you saying that's okay about your mama? If it's out of hatred, let's talk. If it's out of being genuine, like that's the point we've gotten to, and I have to do my part. And I ask every single one of you, no matter how disingenuous you think it is, that, well, because maybe you're older, no matter how much you think about that, put you to the side, put us to the side. And I ask that you look at, what do you want for the future? And for the people who we have some people out there who don't give a damn about the future. They don't have any kids. They don't worry about all that. Hey, it sucks to be them. I got it. But will it hurt you? Will it hurt you? You don't have to be for the future, but will it hurt you to stand for something? Will it hurt you to stand for something? If not, I implore every single person out there to sign. I got on there, I signed. It said something about, did you want to pay $3 for the? I texted the missus and said, well, wait a second. Did you want, not that I want to worry about $3, because my fat ass set up here, this is a $4 bag. This is a $4 bag.
A $10 bag.
Right. So I'm going to complain. Sorry for the noise. I'm going to complain about $3, but I just ate up a bag of $3. Pause. Perspectives, priorities. Hey, missus, did you want, because I'd rather send you the $3 if there's going to be some like, well, we get $2 out of the, do you want me? I'll send you. She wrote back, no, it ain't should be no money stuff. Let me look into it. No. All I need is for the number to say, yes, there's another person that agrees. No worries. You got it. Boom. You want to send the $3 to the American? Blah, blah. They ain't going to get that money. No, I'll send it to her. Thank you. Sign. And then the video option. You have the option. It's not a force anything. It's an option. I wanted my voice, because sometimes we see the text. We see it's like, oh, they signed. Did they really sign? Yes, that's my name. That is my name. I signed. I believe in it, and I'm willing to do my part. And so anyway, I just say it's such a great cause. And in light of sounding cheesy, I'll end there because I don't want to sound cheesy or whatever like that. But I promise you, if you put yourself to the side and you are willing to stand like this sister standing with this bullseye on her, gonna take the heat, but she's built for it. Like what? I'm looking at for the future. Fuck you. Excuse the language. So I've joined, and I'm proud, super proud. And anyone and everyone I can send that link to, please let me know. I will.
We appreciate you, Doc, and we appreciate you, Mrs.
And I had quite a few people hit me up and ask the same thing about giving a donation. Please do not leave any donations on change.org.
Absolutely. Yes. Sign the petition and just keep this momentum moving forward. We appreciate what you're doing. And again, you do have your moments where you wave your shame flag, and I love it personally. But you also have your moments where you give amazing information. That was just green flags of what to look for in a potential partner, potential mate, potential relationship, potential friend. And again, you get a lot of people who have things to say and notice about your shame segment. But when you put out information like that, I think it's admirable and worth just as much notoriety, but doesn't necessarily hit the mark. World class suggested that all of us gentlemen give younger gentlemen 10 reasons or 10 things that they can do or be to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just always trying to put out positive information, you know, a driver's license, a skilled trade, a bank account, a credit card, a car that's registered and insured, a mentor, knowledge of your expenses, you know, and your earnings. And again, just positive examples to help men and women alike have a
focus, a purpose,
a suggestion of what could be possible.
Possible goals, small goals.
Absolutely.
Big goals.
Absolutely. So, you know, we're always going to continue to push this information, and we're always going to continue to wave our flag and be unapologetic about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not agree.
Yeah.
But if we can change one mind, if we can get one person off the fence, one latchkey child from in front of the television to making better decisions, I think our job is done. Yeah. What do you think, Vince?
I mean, you know, like you said, if you do your research, I've always protected the kids. I've always tried to keep them in their innocence because, like you, we were stripped from that, you know, and there's nobody to blame, right? At this point, you know, you got to just get through it. But I want to be that light for those children. I had so many people who gave me light, and I needed it. You know, so I wanted to grow up and be that light, you know, so it's nothing I had to grow into. So, you know, being a young person and a babysitter at 9, you know, auntie at freaking 13, you know, I was always protecting them. Nah, they can't listen to that. Nah, we not going there. Oh, y'all acting a fool. I'm taking the kids outside. So it's always been a thing. This is not nothing new. So if anybody do their research, they'll tell you I don't play when they come with these kids. I will check you family or not. You don't like it, too bad. Say something.
So proud of you, sis. Lady Navoa checked in.
Thank you, love.
She said that's her song. Yes.
Yes.
Black Men United.
Yes.
In honor of Dr. Nakumbe and his Black Men Unfiltered Network. All of those over there that put that work in. We appreciate y'all, man. And that song, you know, is indicative of us as men. That is a song from Jason's lyric. It's from Black Men United, and it's called You Will Know.
Yeah. Men getting together to, you know, build, like, and this is where we came from. That's our era, you know, and it's really inspiring, you know.
So if you guys get a chance, take a listen. And Doc, let's get your final thoughts, man. Let's get you out of here. We appreciate you taking your time out of your night, man, to be with us. And it's always a pleasure. I consider you a friend, a colleague, a mentor, an uncle, a brother. You're all of that wrapped up in one for me, man. So
another rose that grew from the concrete.
You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me. I bought in and me and you, we are family, sir. So I hope you welcome me with open arms because we here.
I do. Yes. I do. Thank you. Final thoughts. Well, one, again, I thank you for the opportunity. We all have a story. Normally I don't go on and I talk a lot, but I normally don't do the background, like proving self and showing receipts and telling the stories. I have the receipts, but that's not what it's really about. So these rare opportunities that I do take to tell the story and to be vulnerable, I have to be selective in who I do that with. So I felt safe enough. That's kind of the verbiage now. I felt safe enough to do it. And I run into people who are now teaching me I should unlearn who I am. I should unlearn this what's the word starts with the P, the way so misogynistic lifestyle or being misogynistic, being a man, living this patriotic life. Yeah. Yes. And I should unlearn all that. It's like, and I use a lot of my head is filled with movies and lines. So we almost 50 years old, Claude. I mean, you know, we from the movie Life, but I can't. But you know, my unwillingness versus my capability. They clash. I'm more than willing to accept people for who they are. So, but it's like with you, it's like, no, I mean, you get the real deal. So there's no ambiguity, there's no guessing. And so I value in this space. You know, there's some people on the YouTube streets who don't even like is a strange word. They don't like me anymore because someone else doesn't like me. It's like this tag team thing, like because they stop talking to you, I stop talking to you. Or because I say something on the chat and you can't hear the voice. So I do myself a disservice when I get tuned in and start typing away, and I do myself a disservice because you can't hear the tone. And if I hold someone accountable, why would you say that about them? Or I mean, are we talking truth or are we just talking for entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to be careful where I mix the two and with you and a few others. Brother Arshawn he blessed me to be on this show and listen to him, and like, wow, he was just speaking. We were having conversation about truth, not about talking points. So there are a few people who I feel safe enough, and you and the missus provide that safety for me. I watched you with my own eyes, like I said, from a distance on the screen, because I believe character is not always when you're being watched, is when you're not being watched as well. And so from a distance, I see your character. When I met you in person, this dude up here teaching people how to put on ties. I mean, like how to tie a tie. He's up here showing people, and them kids were just tuned in. Huh? Man, them kids was tuned in, like, and when they made a mistake, my knucklehead, my little shorty made mistakes, and never once could I sense shame or belittling. It was like, no. I mean, if that's how you like it, I was ready to be like, hey, I know you don't like it that way, hey man. but you like, hey, if that's how you like it, but it wasn't that passive. Like, you want me to make you macaroni or a hot dog? It wasn't that type of passivity. It was more of like, you got the mechanics down. Let me give you the space to perfect it. And so I got to see it, and I got to see the missus just be amongst people, and not just be this like motherly flower, but almost those roles you're talking about: this sister, this friend, this mother, this nurturer, this carer, this provider, but also this rock and this strength that you don't mess with. And I was like, so I honor to be in this space. I thank you for those in the chat. I can't see the chat now. I so apologize for being. I'm really on T-Mobile, but I swear the universe tonight was just making this choppy, but didn't stop us. It didn't stop us. But I apologize.
That's
right. I was on a network. I thought it was on a good network. I'd have been. Hey, you get to talk about you and blah blah blah. Be on a good network, but it wasn't about that. It was like I want to be available. So I apologize for the choppiness and the cutoff and the cutout. But for the most part, we landed this together. So I thank you. And then in my final words about people wanting to do this work, please remember, you don't have to have a traumatic story. And even if you do have one, that you're not that trauma for the rest of your life. You are not that, you're not a walking trauma stick. We can overcome stuff, we can do the work, but you have to do the work. Do better to be better. You have to do better to be better. And if you only have this much going on in life, that's enough to make a difference. You don't have to be this big, just that little bit, and you can still make that difference if you do the work and you really want to. So I thank you again. Humble. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
That's Dr. Nakumbe, the amazing Dr. Nakumbe. You guys can check him out over at Black Men Unfiltered Network every Thursday. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
That's him and Coach K, and they have amazing conversations on breaking the cycle. And it's always very intellectual, very purposeful, very attentive. And just thank you for what you bring to this space, sir.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And he has his own Facebook page.
He does.
Dr. Nakumbe.
Coach Nakumbe. Yeah.
Follow and
check out Coach Nakumbe.
Check out, see what he is offering over there, because some good stuff. We got to get our men together. They need mentors and people to look up to and get themselves better too. So there's options. There's things out there. There's men out there. Other men out there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love me some good men, and I want to give y'all praise, and I can't put all of you humans in the same box. Character will shine through, and I'm going to put you in the box that I'm going to place you in, and everybody has that right, respectfully. You understand? So, and this is where we are. And I hope we can get better, each one teach one.
Yes.
Be kind to somebody besides yourself.
Yes.
Protect the damn children.
Yeah. Y'all go over to Black Man Unfiltered. They got an amazing conversation on parenting going down right now. Lady Navoa said, said,
get over there.
Get your Black Man Unfiltered.
Yes, so shout out to Lady Navoa. Yes.
That's right. To teach to each is what rap intended.
That's right. Self-destruction. We headed for self-destruction.
We here.
We see y'all on Saturday for Cerebro. Hey. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How can we support you too? Because I know you don't ask for cash apps. You don't ask for anything. You don't ask. How can, if you please give us just one idea, how can we support you?
You can support us by being the adult that you needed as a child. Remember that adult
for the people in the back.
Remember that adult you needed. Remember that OG you needed. Remember that mature voice that you needed in your head as a child. Be that for some child. Be that for your child's friend. Be that for somebody on your block. Be that for somebody in your neighborhood. Be that for a young person. They need our inspiration. They need our guidance. They need to see.
They need our
positive examples. So that's what we would ask, Doc. We appreciate y'all. Be good to somebody else. That's when real character shines through. That's our payment. And we appreciate that. So thank you for coming through, Doc. We love you, brother. You are always welcome over here.
You know that. Well, peace.
Over to your crew.
Thank you. Thank you.
We go over there right now. Black Man Unfiltered, y'all. Get over there.
Head it over.
Peace.
All right, Mr. Peace. Take care, everyone. Thank you.